And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text TIP to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text TIP to 321-321. That's TIP to 321-321.
Marco Polo.
Hoping to find new customers online can feel like playing Marco Polo in the dark.
Plumber.
Right here.
Plumber.
Right here.
Let Cumulus Boost help spotlight your business. Boost your website. Boost your findability. Boost your reputation. Boost your business. Get a boost. Get found. Get on the map. Contact us today at cumulusboost.com.
I've just been feeling so sluggish lately.
You should try the Metamucil 2-week challenge.
The Metamucil 2-week challenge?
Yeah, Metamucil 4-in-1 fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Start your daily routine now, and in 2 weeks, you could be feeling great. Well, it's been 2 weeks. How you feeling?
Lighter and feeling great.
If you want to feel lighter by promoting digestive health, sign up to take the 2-week challenge at metamucil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
You okay?
I can't sleep with this cough.
Sounds like you need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with NyQuil VapoCool. It's NyQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
So you ready to get some sleep? Thank you, NyQuil VapoCool.
NyQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing nighttime coughing, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Krivas turnaround, gets it off, and it rolls in for two. Oh my! KJ Lewis slams it home. Stolen away by Bradley. Caleb on a breakaway windmill jam.
Arizona basketball never sleeps. Bear down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball begins with Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. The pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We're counting down to tip-off of Arizona basketball. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Feed right corner for Love. Love, a lot of body contact. Back left corner, Bradley. He'll shoot it up from there and score three.
Offensive rebound after the block shot. Good activity moving the ball side to side. That makes the zone move.
And back to Love. Squares up for another deep three. 2 in a row for Caleb Love. He's got 8. And now they'll put it in motion. Get it to KJ Lewis. He scores and he's fouled. Carter drives left. Throw it inside for Basar. Went to dunk it. It rattled off the rim, off the glass, and then went through.
Nice pass from Carter Bryant.
Skip pass over to Bryant, top Owaka. He's going to shoot a 3, and it's good. Tobe Owaka with his first career three-pointer. How about that?
Get hungry. We're excited to be, starting this Big 12 thing we've been talking about for like 20 months. Fired up. We're hungry.
And here we go. It is basketball night in Arizona. Time to start the Big 12, the TCU Horned Frogs here in Tucson for a date tonight at McHale Center as this new foray into a conference begins for your Arizona Wildcats. Welcome back to Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. I'm your host, David Kelly. I've got my guys. I've got Kelvin Efun. I've got J.W. Madden here. It is the final broadcast of this calendar year, but it almost feels like it is the beginning. Well, because it is the beginning. The first Big 12 game ever for the University of Arizona, and it will happen tonight at McHale Center against the Texas Christian Horned Frogs. Guys, we've been talking about this for a long, long time. Going back to, I believe, early August of last year, and the anticipations of what this was going to be like in this new conference, especially on the basketball side, with how tough this league has traditionally been. And now we get the opportunity to really begin to live what Big 12 basketball is all about.
Yeah, exciting times. I mean, a new conference. First off, come off the top of my head, Kansas, right? You're thinking about that big game, but you don't want to look too far because the TCUs of the world, they'll be right there to give you a great game, too. I mean, it's just a great conference from top to bottom. Excited to see us play in this conference and get this thing going.
Yeah, it's still weird. I mean, our whole lifetimes, we've watched this university in the West Coast Conference. So we've talked forever, DK, about the strength, particularly in the basketball side of things. And maybe a couple of teams, including Arizona, haven't quite come out of the gates in the non-conference like we may have expected. But plenty of time, a lot of talent in this league. Really looking forward to getting it started. Going to be very physical, boys. Very physical.
20 games will be the schedule for Big 12 conference play. There'll be one game. Essentially, this is the what will normally be the end of the week. Will be the Monday-Tuesday game, although we're starting. So this will be the first game, and then you'll go into more of a normal two-game pattern beginning with Saturday's trip, which will be the first road trip for Arizona, as they'll head down to play Cincinnati on Saturday, and then the rematch with West Virginia, which will be next Tuesday. So there'll be a lot of Saturday, Monday, Saturday, Tuesdays as we begin, and I think we throw in a Wednesday or two in there as well as we begin to navigate what this new schedule life is going to be like as well. So for so many years, for the last 30 years, we've been so in tune with that Thursday, Saturday type of format with the Pac-12 conference. Then it kind of became Thursday, Sunday at times. Then they extended in recent years. You might play Wednesday or Saturday or Wednesday and Sunday. So, but always that later part of the week was kind of the start of the weekend, whereas now it's going to be that Saturday will normally be the normal start to the weekend, with the second game kind of being early week. Monday or Tuesday. So there's a lot for us to learn as we get into this new conference. Looking forward to it for sure. The Wildcats coming off that win against Central Michigan. That was a nice way for them to kind of end the non-conference last week with those two games and two huge victories over Samford, the first game, and then over Central Michigan. We've seen the Wildcats offensively kind of get back to what they do, and that's 20-plus assists. KJ Lewis on why we've seen that in these last two games.
I think just a week of practice, we emphasized getting back to Arizona, the standard of moving the ball, making the right plays for our teammates, and being connected on the offensive side. And then they also ran a lot of zones, so we knew if we moved the ball and cut, we're going to get anything we want.
Yeah, and we also saw, obviously, two teams there with Samford and Central Michigan who did a little bit of pressing, and really that lends guys to what Arizona wants to do when a team is going to come out and try to press full court. It allows the Wildcats to get a little bit out in transition and get more easy baskets.
Yeah, that's exactly what they want to do. They want to play the up-tempo, get the ball up, pass the ball up the floor, and get some easy buckets, get guys like Caleb Lewis going, get Caleb Love going on easy buckets. So that's the game plan. And when you come out, especially when you're going against teams like that, but when you're getting against the TCUs of the world and in the Big 12, we got to see how we can get the transition game going against those guys.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Coach Lloyd's, 4 years on campus, they've been in top 10 in scoring in the nation, which means what? Which means they're very comfortable, Kelvin, in getting out and running those lanes and getting easy buckets, getting early offense. And so when you go up against a team that's trying to three-quarter court trap you, DK, it really makes you comfortable in running those lanes. You're trying to get a team uncomfortable in what they're trying to do offensively. Arizona very comfortable against a Jamie Dixon-led team, Kelvin, that tries to play really hard, tight, man-to-man in half court. Really different story today.
And let's hear from Tommy Lloyd just kind of on the Wildcats getting back to their 20-plus assist numbers.
Listen, there's no secret. Our deal's predicated on ball movement and player movement, and that's not always easy to get, but there has to be a willingness to do it. I think our guys are getting there, and they're fighting for it, so I was really happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you want to see. You want to see this offense being aggressive. Jaden Bradley has been a large catalyst in that for this team, as we've seen him pretty much average 6 assists per ball game the last 2 times out, which is what you want to see from your point guard, but also throw some love to the young guy, Conrad Martinez, who's come in there and really played well, and he got a bunch of minutes in that game against Central Michigan, and he was really, dishing the ball out to a number of different guys, hit KJ Lewis on some back doors and the inbounds play, and also, got a lob to the rim for a couple guys as well. Conrad Martinez getting his first really extended look in the game a little bit earlier than normal, played a lot more minutes, career high in minutes, career high in points, career high in assists in that ball game. Tommy Lloyd on the young guy, Conrad Martinez, El Jefe, emerging for this club.
When I put my head on the pillow at night, I want to play him. I want to play him more. I just tell Conrad, here's the deal. You don't have to prove to me you're a good player. I know you're a good player. You just got to go in there, and the team has to operate, efficiently when you're in there. So I don't need you going in there and proving to me that you're a good player by trying to do things that are too difficult. Just drill the game down, keep it simple, make sure when you're on the court that we're flowing. If you have an open shot, take it, because I know you can make it, and let's really keep it that simple. And I don't want him to feel like, sometimes with these guys, and it happens, when you have a young player or a guy that's, playing a new role, sometimes they try a little bit hard because they want to show you they can maybe do more. And maybe I just need this contribution right here is to stay in this lane, and you try to do more, maybe it'll be counterproductive. So I think he's really found that sweet spot of just kind of staying in his lane and doing this. And I think the team's he's played really well when he's been on the floor.
And he talks about guys, Conrad wanting to do more. And I think we see the way that Conrad played in that game, and we want to see him more on the field, but baby steps with a player like that.
Yeah, I mean, baby steps, but at the same time, when you go out there and you start putting it on the floor where people can see it, it's going to open up more doors. I think Jaden Bradley, we're going to get a chance to see, is he going to step up? Because if he doesn't step up, I don't think coach is going to hesitate, putting Conrad in the game. So I just think it's a situation to where you want to see guys playing well because it's going to force the guys in front of you to play well. I say the same thing about Noah Fafita. You get a backup quarterback, you get somebody that can put a little pressure on you, you seem to play a little bit better when you have that on you.
And, Kelvin, you talk about that a lot, about having the inspiration behind you of that threat, and maybe, losing some playing time if somebody else steps up. Well, guess what? Both those guys, DK, are trying to make the team better. These aren't guys. This isn't a guy coming off the bench trying to get his 25 shots up, Kelvin. It's the opposite. You're talking about two guys who are unselfish and trying to work that passing game that Coach Lloyd's looking for. Maybe wasn't quite as smooth and as tight the first 10 games, but with an extra guy off that bench, Kelvin, who's coming in with one sole purpose, make the offense run smoothly, that's never a bad thing.
And you saw what we saw from him, and what I liked was, I think there was a 2-minute stretch in that game against Central Michigan where he got to the line, got a couple free throws, so got 2 points, but also 3 assists and 2 steals. This was in a 2-minute stretch of him just pointing in the box score, making plays at both ends of the floor. That's what you love to see about a kid like Conrad Martinez and what he could potentially add to this team moving forward as you get into the depth of Big 12 play.
To me, Kelvin, it's very evident that young man has been playing against dudes who are 4, 5, 6 years older than he was his entire life because he's not concerned about what it's looking like. He's just concerned about how effective he is on the court. And you learn that, Kelvin, from playing up a level, up a two or three levels with some of those national teams that he did before he got to campus. So very obvious that he got honed by playing against some older dudes who knew the ins and outs of that tiny part of the game to be efficient.
And also, there's an advantage of having to sit. Having to sit and listen to coach yelling at the other guys and coaching other guys up is a thing that the coaches always used to tell us, the ear hustle. Get over there and listen like we're talking to you. So when you get an opportunity, you go in there and you don't make the mistakes that the guy in front of you is making. So I think that's a little bit of what he's doing also. He's looking at what is the need for the team. What is my opportunity to get on the floor? And I think a little bit of T.J. McConnell coming to town helped them out a little bit too. Because coach said, that little guy that's playing, we need somebody to bring that energy. Can you do that, Conrad? And I think Conrad has been smart. Again, he already had that in his bag. I mean, he, as you said, he come from experience. But there's nothing like playing a good game, when you have a guy like T.J. coming in there to feed off of that.
Here's KJ Lewis on Conrad Martinez.
You know, he's a general out there. He can literally pick apart defenses on any coverage. And he just gives us a different dynamic when he's out there, and it gives Jaden a little time to, get a little break. And then, I think, those two at the, point guard spot are a great duo for each other.
Yeah, but and Tommy said, though, don't sleep on what KJ brought to that game and what he was allowed or what he allowed this team to do offensively against that zone, that matchup zone that Central Michigan threw at them last Saturday.
He kind of was able to, make some things happen underneath that zone defense that got us going, which is great. I mean, KJ, listen, we know how good of a player he is. And for him to kind of, give up that starting position, but show that he can come in a game and first impact like he did in the first half was tremendous.
And guys, we love, we like this starting unit, but man, I really liked what I saw from that second five when they were out there. Carter Bryant, Conrad Martinez, Henry Vasar, a little Deli kind of mixed in a little bit with that unit. That and KJ, obviously, that was a really good looking five when they were on the floor.
Yeah, it was DK, but it's one of those things where we'll probably never see it again. Doing Big 12
Granted,
play.
It was Central Michigan.
Yes, sir. It's going to be hard to have Caleb Love and all these guys off the floor at the same time. I mean, it's just not realistic. But you love for those guys to have actual game minutes to get the experience of understanding what it's going to take to execute. Those guys play a lot together in practice versus the starters, right? So they have a certain amount of chemistry. So I wasn't surprised that they played well together, but how can they fit in with the starters is going to be really true to how this team is going to end up being effective and what type of success the team have, because Caleb Love getting 30 minutes, Townsend's getting 25 minutes. I mean, let's just keep it real. Maybe at the 5 position, I see that position being a little more flexible, and I see Del Arso, the 2 position being more flexible, but Bradley and Love, I see 30 to 32 minutes easy.
Back to the point on KJ, Kelvin, we've talked endlessly about how effective he can be in that Hassan Adams role, where he's maybe in the corner, flashing baseline, getting to the ball. He's quick, bursty. He can really finish around, bigger players at the rim. That's one thing that this team had been lacking, especially that soft spot in the zone when you go to the elbow and maybe there's a little bit of a vacancy there where the block, where those players clear out from the block. He really, really effectively cut into those empty spaces, Kelvin. And it doesn't matter whether the 4 guys are out there with him on that court. If he's going to be a much more active cutter in that role, as opposed to trying to play point guard, as opposed to trying to be a spot-up shooter, but doing what he's really, really good and effective at right now in this point in his career, that's just leads to success for the Arizona Wildcats, offensively especially.
All right. And also, before we get to our break, let's hear also from KJ Lewis, just kind of on the offense recently and how aggressively they have been playing.
I mean, 100%. I mean, we've been more aggressive on our approach on offense, rebounding, making sure we're connecting passes. Again, and just being a whole, a team that plays together. I think, early in the non-conference, we were still trying to figure it out, and we were right there. It was a few stretches that we didn't, have those moments that we're having now.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
All right. A lot in store for you as we've got you till 5:30. Network will take over. Tip-off coming up at 6 o'clock. We will take our first look at TCU, a team the Wildcats came up against in the NCAA tournament in Tommy Lloyd's first season as head coach here. Bob Lloyd, the legendary Big Bird, is going to join us. U of A forward, class of 1977. He is bringing Julius Irving to town in January. We'll talk to Big Bob about that. Spotlight on a Cat, we'll shine that on Carter Bryant, who had a little bit of a position change, moving from the 3 to the 4 spot. Best bets, U of A, a big favorite tonight at home. 15.5 points over the TCU Horned Frogs. That's what it looks like on the big board at the Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook. You're over under at 145.5. And we will hear from our guy over at the Fort Worth Star and Telegram, Steven Johnson. He'll give you your scouting report. All of that coming up for you in the course of the next 3 hours. Let's get our first break in. Come back for you. Much more straight ahead. We'll talk a little bit about TCU and one of their top players who we're a little bit familiar with, but we won't be seeing play tonight. It's Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. Arizona and TCU tonight at McHale Center, along with Kelvin Ifan and JW Madden. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball is just getting started. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 1 of the pregame show is brought to you by Desert Diamond Casinos, First Chiropractic, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing, Restaurant Supply Store, Royal GMC Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, the Polston Results Team with Keller Williams Southern Arizona, the Window Depot, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Day in and day out, we're inundated with commercials asking to review your portfolio or telling you to get a second opinion. This is Natalie Fernandez with Meridian Wealth Management, and I want to share the advice I give people every day. Talk to 3 different advisors at 3 different firms. It's important to understand their differences and find someone you can trust. I want Meridian to be one of your 3, and then you will decide who is best for you. To learn more, call us at 719-1433 today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 5-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Looking for unlimited gameplay all season long? Dave & Buster's is introducing the all-new Winter Season Pass. You can pick your perfect pass and play like a Dave & Buster's VIP with unlimited access to over 140 games and deals on sips and bites. Sign up now and take advantage of this incredible deal now through February 28th. Don't forget to stop in Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for lunch specials and grab the all-new Winter Season Pass. There's nowhere better to eat, drink, play, and watch than Dave & Buster's, the best place outside the stadium to see the games this football season.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
First Chiropractic is pleased to announce that Access Health Plans now cover chiropractic care. A referral by your PCP is required. For more information, go to firstchiro.com, the most trusted name in chiropractic care. A proud U of A radio sponsor.
First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Buick GMC, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Buick GMC, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Buick GMC, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Buick GMC, in the Auto Mall and at RoyalTucson.com.
The Window Depot has everything you need to create the kitchen or bathroom of your dreams. Browse the aisles of in-stock cabinets available in a variety of sizes and configurations and instantly elevate your space today. Visit a showroom and let our experts guide you. Whether you're choosing from ready-to-go designs or creating a custom masterpiece, we can help you select the perfect wood type, color, and style, and top it off with unique hardware to complete your look. Find a location near you at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot. More than a window store.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
It's not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
You want to protect her. You'll give anything to make sure nothing harms her. Every minute together makes unforgettable memories. Except that time you parked her under that tree and
Oh, come on, man. Really?
Sorry, we'll never speak of it again. But remember who came to her rescue? Recon Auto Detailing. Arizona's premier auto detailing company comes directly to you. We'll make your masterpiece shine like it should, and with a monthly maintenance package, we'll keep it that way. Recon Auto Detailing. Online at recondetail.com.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We have the Arizona Wildcats covered on game day like no one else. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Ifan, and J.W. Madden.
Hand it off for Creaser. Looking back inside, fire it to Cloco. Shovel it off. Matherin, jam it home with the right hand.
Put it on top of Eddie Lampkin's head.
16 left in the ballgame. Matherin, 3 balls straight away. Good. That's a tie.
Huge shot for Ben Matherin in Arizona. Timeout TCU. This ball game is knotted up.
Terry looking for help. 6 to shoot. Way outside to Matherin. 3, 2. Matherin forces the 3 off the rim. No good follow. Coloco jams it home. And the Cats up by 5.
Offensive rebound. And the man of the night, Christian Coloco. 12 of 13 from the field. 28 points.
Rebound Lampkin. Out to Baugh for 3. It's no good. Rebound, it's over. And the Cats are on to the Sweet 16.
Our first look at today's Arizona men's basketball game is brought to you by The Window Depot. Lowest prices and biggest inventory. Shop thewindowdepot.com.
85-80 in San Diego back in March of 2022. Last time these two teams got together, and what a game. I mean, that game was dotted by the NBA Wildcats of the late Sean Miller, early Tommy Lloyd era. Ben Matherin making that big dunk. And, of course, Dalen Terry with a big 3 from the corner, and Christian Coloco, who was all over. How about Christmas Day? You guys see Christmas Day? He was all over that Lakers Warriors game on Christmas Day, getting a lot of love from the broadcast crew.
That game
played well, too.
That game might have been the best in the Tommy Lloyd era, just because the stakes, because they were playing in the second round on their, with a berth in the Sweet 16 on the line, and Eddie Lampkin. You remember how balling out Eddie Lampkin was in the first 10 minutes of that game? I mean, he was unstoppable. Looked like Shaq out there. So, the big plays, that huge dunk, Matherin with the 3 under 10 seconds to tie it and send it overtime. Just a great game overall.
Tommy Lloyd remembers back on that game in San Diego.
Hand it off.
Remember, it was a great game, and I remember that the game came down to a few offensive rebounds, I think, kind of on free throws. I remember their big guy that's transferred to a few places now that was at Colorado last year. Played. He had a career game. I remember Ben Matherin was awesome. I remember Dalen Terry hit a huge 3 in the corner. I remember Kerr gave a great effort trying to come back and play when I don't think people realized he probably had no business trying to play with that sprained ankle that he sprained in the Pac-12 tournament. So, I remember Christian Coloco played great, and I just remember it was a great game, and came down to a couple big plays down the stretch. Luckily, we were on the right side of it, and it's definitely an exciting time.
Yeah, and guys, this is a different TCU team though than what they played back then, and that was kind of early in Jamie Dixon's tenure. They kind of were a little bit more of a slog team, didn't really try to push the ball much, but now, guys, they are a team that wants to push the ball offensively.
Well, yeah, I mean, then they had bigger players. Lampkin was one. I mean, just bigger guys, and now I think they don't necessarily have those guys, so they have to try to pick up the pace to put themselves in a position to have a chance to, to win games.
It's so weird. Their stats are odd because they're one of the lower scoring teams in the country, averaging 69 a game as a team. But guys, they're top 20 in fast breaks points per game. And that's because of that Jamie Dixon style. Ben Howland is his mentor. We saw how many years of Ben Howland at Pitt, how many years of Ben Howland we see at UCLA. We know that half-court trapping style or that solid man-to-man defense, and when they can get you turned over by getting those passing lanes, they're not hesitating, Kelvin, to get out and get early offense. Another way to look at it, too, is their top 4 leading scorers are barely hovering around the 40% field goal percentage. Their top 4 scorers, including, I'm sure we'll talk about Mr. Collins here coming up, but all those guys struggle from the field. So when you can't score in the half court, Kelvin, early, easy buckets are the way to go.
Yeah, and this is a team that likes to push it a little bit more than Jamie Dixon teams have in the past. Tommy Lloyd, a little bit on how that's kind of now core. Running is now core to their offense.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting. We played them, 4 years ago now in the NCAA tournament? A little bit. And then, so obviously, Jamie, made a concerted effort to run more. And, I just remember flipping on the TV because we didn't really play him the last couple of years and just being impressed with, the effort they gave running the floor. You see there was a plan how they ran the floor, how wide they were when they ran the floor. So obviously he's coached it really well and kind of made it a core piece of what they're doing, on offense.
Is that almost how you have to play now, guys? I mean, can you play slow and attract the top players anymore, or do you kind of have to?
Does Ben Howland still coach at UCLA or not?
No.
No, he does not, because he couldn't attract the quicker, better, point guards, Kelvin, to come run in his system.
Yeah, man, it's tough. It's tough to play that way. I mean, especially when most of the teams got bigger, better guys than you. So if they have bigger guys, the only thing we can do is get them in transition. We're trying to tire those guys out, trying to beat them down the floor to get easy buckets. So yeah, man, when you're trying to win games, the last thing you want to do is try to slow it down and battle it out with a team bigger than you.
And obviously, necessity is the mother of invention. We know this. And guys, that league is really tough to score in the half court. I mean, think about how many good defensive first teams there are. Iowa State, Baylor, Houston, all those teams are trying to stop you and shut you down in the half court, Kelvin. So Jamie Dixon, over the course of his, 5 years now, 6 years in the Big 12, he's really adjusted his style because coming up again, how are you going to score in the half court against Houston the last few years? So any easy buckets you can get, you got to take advantage of it.
TCU picked 10th in the Big 12 preseason poll. Last year, they were 9-9 in this conference and finished 7th overall when it was a 12-team league. Now, obviously, 16 teams in the Big 12 currently. Tommy Lloyd says that, again, they are running more, but it's not really the way that they do it is not drastically different than a lot of teams that the Wildcats have seen or will see this season.
I mean, TCU's, it's not, they're not doing anything, that other teams aren't doing. They're executing it very well. They're doing a great job of protecting the paint. They always have, paint help. And like, I think the most unique thing about them defensively is just how good and how impactful their center is in his ball screen coverages. To me, that's what makes them really unique.
Ball screen coverages, guys, what's he talking about when he gets into that in terms of how they play?
Well, basically, in our system, a lot of the times when it's ball screens and our defenders, we in drop coverage. When this defender, he's up. He's able to guard the guys at the three-point line. He's able to defend against the penetration, so they can just switch it. So it makes it a lot tougher when you have 5 guys that can switch all 5 positions because now it's hard to turn the corner and get penetration to open up other guys.
And a big term you'll hear is show, right? So what happens on that high ball screen is how much the big is going to show. So we saw 4 years ago, guys, Koloko could move his feet out there so they could do different stuff. But with the average big out there, Kelvin, the drop is a better to come back and protect the rim on any kind of drive or any kind of flashing or to go and rebound off of those corner threes that you might see out of that. The coverage style that they're running is basically their personnel base. So if you have guys out there, if you have 5 guys, we just watched UCLA switched on basically everything. If you can switch out there on all that stuff, it's in the modern times with positionless basketball, where everybody can shoot, everybody can drive, and all of that. It's tougher to get past that as opposed to scheming against your big that can't move his feet very well.
Arizona has already played one Big 12 opponent that was down in the Bahamas when they faced West Virginia. It starts for real tonight. Jaden Bradley excited about it.
Yeah, we're excited. Going in, probably one of the best conferences, known for basketball. So, we're excited going into this and, ready to compete. Just excited. As a basketball player, that's one of the things, you want to play the best of the best. And going into the Big 12, we're definitely getting that for, 20-plus games. So, yeah.
TCU enters this game at 7-4 on the season. The Wildcats are 6-5. So both of these teams are clubs that have kind of struggled a bit through their non-conference schedule. But as Anthony Del Orso states, none of that matters starting tonight.
I mean, realistically, conference hasn't started. Nothing really matters up until this point. When we start in December, TCU's our first game. Then it's like, all right, our goals are still the same. They never changed. We could be 0-11 right now, 0-9. We wouldn't care because we still have the goal of a Big 12 championship. We still have a goal to make the tournament. We still have a dream to, make the national championship game and win it. It doesn't matter whether we win or lose. So the mood's the same. It's all business. It's nothing personal. There's no time, especially now, there's no time to be, doubting and sitting in our feelings and getting all emotional. We just don't have the time for that. Now it's time to really put the foot down and actually get to the business.
Put the pedal to the metal, as you like to say, for sure. And obviously, though, at 6-5, you've put yourself in a little bit of a position where wins are going to be that much more important in terms of building that resume, because, again, there's no guarantees of winning the automatic bid from this conference. And if you don't win that automatic bid, what do you have to do to put yourself in a position to be one of those 68 teams selected come that 1st or 2nd March, Sunday in March, to get into the tournament?
Well, being the top 10, being the top 10 in this conference, I guarantee the top 10 is definitely is going to have a chance to get into the tournament. And yes, you want to win those games in the non-conference. Of course you do. You want to win the tournament. The early preseason tournaments. Yes, but now you do have more pressure on these games, and these games mean more to you. And I think that makes it more exciting because you have to get it done if you want to have an opportunity to play an NCAA tournament. So, yeah, they put this stuff behind the A-ball a little bit, but, hey, that's what this thing's about.
Jaden Bradley is, although, a guy from New York, but down south, grew up watching Big 12 basketball. He knows what the Wildcats are going to need to expect coming up.
Yeah, no matter the conference, I feel like, as a competitor, you want to compete, every night. And when I heard the news, I was excited, going into the Big 12. Growing up, I watched a lot of those teams and, getting to play against those guys and compete with those guys night in and night out, just excited.
That's been our first look at today's Arizona men's basketball game. Brought to you by The Window Depot. Lowest prices and biggest inventory. Shop thewindowdepot.com.
And don't forget, every game we've got your Window Depot glass cleaner of the game. Who might that be tonight? Might it be the Wildcat with the most rebounds? Might it be the U of A star with the most impactful boards? We will tell you the Window Depot glass cleaner of the game coming up tonight. Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day, the post-game show after Arizona and TCU. Straight ahead, we're going to talk to Arizona basketball legend Bob Elliott, class of 1977. Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day pregame, getting you set for the Horned Frogs and Wildcats. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
If you're suffering from back pain and your physician is giving you a back brace or a pain pill or an injection, and not explain the process of what you have and how to rehabilitate yourself, then there might be something missing. I'm Tom Corey. I'm a physiatrist here at Desert Sky Spine and Pain. If you're looking to find the root cause of your pain, any pain that's limiting your function, limiting the things that you want to do in life, call us at 520-229-2080 or find us on the web at desertskymedicine.com.
2025 is bringing the biggest change to air conditioning in decades. New EPA regulations mean AC costs could rise by up to 25%. If you've been thinking about replacing your old AC, now's the time. Rightway is offering zero interest financing and a free furnace when you replace your AC this month. Don't wait till next year when prices go up. Call Rightway today for your free no obligation estimate. Call 520-549-2697.
back to the holiday shopping adventures of Eugene Snarkle and his best friend Doug.
Hey, Eugene, we waited a little too long to get our shopping done. The shelves are looking pretty empty.
I was thinking of getting everyone a giant-sized bag of Cheezos.
We interrupt Eugene's great idea for this message.
Looking to get on the road but need some maintenance or repairs to your car, truck, SUV, or sleigh to get it road trip ready?
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care has some fantastic year-end savings, like $50 back on any $250 purchase. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care since 1960, here to get you there.
Driving the lane, dunking on the competition, and playing as a team. These are things we'll see this season watching our Wildcats play basketball. These happen to be the things you'll also find when you buy your next vehicle from O'Reilly Chevrolet. The only difference is at O'Reilly, nobody gets penalized for traveling. Heck, we actually encourage it. See us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or find new roads at O'Reilly.com, where you can experience our version of a steal. O'Reilly Chevrolet, more than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Do you often worry you left your garage door open? With the LiftMaster Garage Door Opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit KaiserGarage.com to learn more.
Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats basketball radio broadcast. Two powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. coolwillies.com.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. 6 model homes are now open to tour at Del Webb at Rockin' K. Here, life is about more than just beautiful homes. It's about the experiences waiting outside your front door at this new 55-plus active adult neighborhood. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
For over 30 years, Tucson has been putting its trust in First Chiropractic for auto and on-the-job injuries. They're locally owned and a proud sponsor of the U of A radio broadcast. So if you've been injured, make the right choice. First
Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the Captain Kelvin Ifan, and J.W. Madden.
Getting you set for the Wildcats and the TCU Horned Frogs. Tip-off tonight coming up for you at McHale Center, 6 o'clock. Let's talk to one of the Arizona letter winners right now, and a guy that was a part of one of the great ages of Arizona Wildcats basketball in the mid-1970s. And he's got a pretty big event that's happening here coming up in the month of January. Pleased to be joined by Bob Elliott, class of 1977. And first of all, Bob, welcome. Happy New Year, happy holidays, and upcoming New Year to you. First, I want to get your thoughts on what you've seen from this Arizona team this season in their struggles through the non-conference, which is not something we're normally used to seeing from Arizona.
Yeah, that's true. But, first of all, David and Kelvin, good to be on the radio with you guys. What I've seen so far is that the 5 losses have been tough because these were very good teams. I wouldn't even be surprised if those 5 teams all make it to the NCAA tournament. But I think right now, Tommy's been trying to find not the best 5 players on the team, but the 5 on the floor that make the sum of the individual parts greater as a whole. Then you have to bring in 6, 7, and 8 so you get your rotation going. So overall, the team is better off. And face it, he wanted Big Mo in that 8, but then all of a sudden that throws you a curveball. So I think he's just trying to find the right combinations. The last 2 games helped, but, granted, the last 2 games were not against Big 12 type competition either.
What do you like about some of these other bigs, these new guys that have come in, Toby Awaka and Trey Townsend?
Well, Walker, he just goes after the rock. I don't think we've had a guy go after the ball on the glass like that almost since Pete Williams back when Lute first started. Just relentless. Like every time something goes up that way, they're going after it. And so he's been impressive to me. I think the kid from Oxford, Michigan, that went to Oakland U,
Trey Townsend.
Trey. He's a little more. He's smoother than what I thought he would be. When I say smoother, even though he has a big, strong body, that doesn't necessarily mean somebody's going to be a power player. He seems to be more of a finesse player, even if he has a big body.
Is that good or bad, you think? Is there positives? Well, what are the positives and maybe a negative to that moving forward, you think?
Well, it is what it is. So you can't make a guy who is not a power player be a power player. If mentally they're a finesse player, they're a finesse player. I think of 2 examples. One that we had here at Arizona, a guy named Ed Stokes, 7 feet, 270. He was a finesse player. My time in the NBA, and this might shock you, Daryl Dawkins was a finesse player.
Wow.
Now, if he was on his way to the hole, Chocolate Thunder was showing up. Don't get out the way. He's gonna dunk it on you there. But the rest of his game was fadeaway jump shots and finger rolls. So just because you have a big body doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be a power player.
Right. Absolutely. Please be joined by Bob Elliott. He is Arizona forward, class of 1977, back at the famed Kitty Corps under the legendary Arizona Wildcats and Fred Snowden back in the mid-'70s. And Bob, you've obviously went on to play in the National Basketball Association, was a part of the Players Union for a number of years and Players Association. And you've had the opportunity on a number of occasions to bring some NBA bigwigs here into town. I can remember a few years ago, you brought Oscar Robertson in here, along with Wayne Embry was here for an event that you had here. And a couple of years ago, we had the big event which you termed the Fireside Chat, which was based around Coach Snowden and a lot of his former players that, like yourself, came back to be involved in that. And now you're bringing, as I like to coin the great PA announcer from Philly back in the day, Julius Irving to town.
That was a good one, David. That's a good one. Yeah, I was drafted by the Sixers, and, in training camp, all the veterans get their own room. The rookies have to bunk up. So after 1 week, there was a cut, and I had a single room. Now, the veterans like Doug Collins, Henry Bibby, and World B. Free, at the time he was still Lloyd B. Free.
Yeah.
They were like, no, put 3 of them little young boys in the room together. and Julius said, no, Bob can move in with me. Julius, he has been my big brother ever since 1977.
Wow.
We have had that kind of relationship. We talk or text at least monthly. And so about 6-7 months ago, our wives were with us at dinner. I'm trying to remember, it must have been in Vegas. And he gets the newsletter for the museum, and he says, Bob, I want to do something to help you guys with the museum. And I say, well, we'd like to have what we call our Fireside Chat series. 2 years ago, we had Ruby Bridges. A lot of people say, I'm not quite sure I remember that name, but almost everybody remembers that Norman Rockwell painting of the 6-year-old black girl in 1960 being escorted by 4 large white federal marshals when she integrated the New Orleans school system. So she was there 2 years ago. We had Carlotta Walls here from the Little Rock 9 students back in 57 that integrated that high school. We had Stacy Snowden in here to talk about the things that she and her family went through with Coach Snowden. Coach Snowden being the first black coach, Division I at a major university. and the death threats that she and her family went through, couldn't buy a house and things like that. So I said, Julius, if you'll come by and do a fireside chat, that'd be great. He said, well, let's get the schedules together. So January 16th, he'll be over at Palo Verde High School, and we'll be able to talk to him about his life.
That is awesome. So how did Palo Verde kind of come into the picture of that being the place to have it?
My wife worked at Palo Verde for many years as their lead counselor. And so the principal there, Eric Brock, was one of her former students. So we've always had the big fireside chats, Carlotta Walls and Ruby Bridges at Palo Verde. And so with Julius, they have a nice auditorium, seats 1,200. And so that's where we'll be at. So that's how we end up with Palo Verde. And they've been through this routine of security, of parking. So the best thing in business is if you don't have to reinvent the wheel, don't.
There you go. There you go. We are joined by Bob Elliott, class of 1977, talking about the fireside chat coming up on January the 16th. If I'm not mistaken, that is the date. It's going to be a Thursday night over
Thursday
at
night.
Palo Verde High School. How can, Bob, if people want to come to this, how do they do so? Can anybody just come? Is there tickets involved? Let folks know how they can come and see the great Dr. J.
To come to the event, go to the website for the museum, www.aamsaz.org. So think of AAM, African American Museum, SAZ, Southern Arizona.org, and make a donation, and then follow the sheets about how to get involved. You know, one of the things we've been very proud of about the museum, we had our first opening day about a year and a half ago in January. We have had over 7,000 people come through that museum in a little over a year and a half.
That's awesome.
And just to give you a marker there, the State Museum across the street usually gets about 2,000 in a year. So we've had a lot of interest, a lot of community support. The latest thing we just had was an exhibit called A Slave Story, where somebody contacted us and had a written diary of their relative when they were a slave. And we turned it into almost like an audio book. And we received proclamations not only from the mayor, Regina Romero, and the county, but also from Senator Warnock, Congressman Clyburn, Congresswoman Khalib. And so it has gone big, USA Today, et cetera. So a lot of things have happened down there. And Beverly is the executive director. She's been the one, a volunteer since day one, and it has taken off.
And for those that don't know Beverly, when he says Beverly, that's his lovely wife, Beverly Elliott. Wayne, Bob, tell the story about how that idea became a reality.
Well, it started with the pandemic. So if you go back to the pandemic, we have 4 children that are all married and 10 grandchildren. And so the youngest of those was in kindergarten. Now, if you think about kindergarten, it should be about 2 things: graham crackers and naps.
Right.
Okay, that's it. Well, here comes the pandemic in March. Everything shuts down. He's in kindergarten. You start learning through your tablet on screen. And so the next year, he's in 1st grade, and his teacher says, February, Black History Month, do a report on a black hero or shero. He goes online and he finds all the regular folks, you know, the cast of characters like the Martin Luther Kings and Sojourner Truth, and he looks at my wife and it says Nanu. All the grandbabies call her Nanu, call me Big Pop. and she's also on the advisory board on the museum that was trying to start back in Ann Arbor, where we're from. And he says, you know, kids hear everything. See, I hear you on the phone about a museum back in Ann Arbor. So where's the place I can see somebody here in Tucson that looks like me? And Bev said, well, let me check. So she called the people back in Ann Arbor, which is tied to the Wright Museum in Detroit, which is tied to the Smithsonian in D.C. They came back and said, there is not an African-American museum in the state, in the city of Tucson. There is not one in the state of Arizona.
Right.
And he looked at her and said, then you need to start one, and I'll help. And the little fella's been there ever since day one, helping everything. I'm saying little fella being, funny because the boy's 11 now, wears a size 10 shoe. He's got some Elliott jeans in him, even though he's my grandson.
He'll be the next big baller in the family, huh?
Oh yeah, no, his coach Kenny Neal with a team called TNT. He told him, "Hey, go get you some Charles Barkley highlights." That's you.
Bob Elliott joining us, class of 1977. Bob, I mean, again, you talk about, those connections to Detroit and all those players that came out here during the time that Fred Snowden was the head coach. And man, we'll have to get Bob on again because Bob's got some tremendous stories to tell about those days and those times. And I think one of my favorite ones is when y'all rolled up to, I think it was when y'all rolled up to Motown and there was a pretty popular young singer that was there that day. And then the other one is the Tony Dungy story about how Tony Dungy had so much cachet when he was a player at Minnesota that he was able just to leave in the middle of fall camp. And was it your wedding that he came to? Your wedding.
Yep. Tony was one of our groomsmen, and we got married on August 16th. And I'm like, this is about 5-6 years ago. I'm saying, TD, I call Tony TD. I said, TD, how did you come to our wedding to be in it, and you're the quarterback of the team when you guys are in camp? And he told his coaches, hey, my guy's getting married, and I'm going to be there. So they had practice that morning. I don't know what plane he was on. NIL was back then. And he flies in. He's at the wedding, and then saw his parents who were in Jackson, right by Ann Arbor, and then flew back out there. They basically canceled the second workout that day, and then started back up on Sunday morning.
I mean, and that year was what?
Oh, that's 1975.
1975.
Yeah. Tony actually has a piece in the museum because we do a thing called, we have oral histories where people tell their own stories. We also have legacy stories where you tell a story about somebody who's passed away. Well, his is called I Didn't Know, because we knew that Mr. Dungy was in the military. We never knew what he did. He wouldn't talk about it. So at his funeral, all of a sudden these people come in with the military people with the flags and all kind of stuff, and they're saying, well, what's the deal? That's when Tony found out that his dad was one of the Tuskegee Airmen and one of the lead pilots flying over France with the bombers.
And he did not know that until after his dad died?
Exactly. So Tony did a piece for NBC and his business called All Pro Dads. If you go to the website, you'll see it. And he went and found a guy, Colonel Stewart, who served with his dad. And he filmed it. He said, tell me about what my dad and you guys did when you guys were in Tuskegee, you were Tuskegee Airmen. So we got the whole thing on film. Tony obviously gave us permission to put it on there. One of the things we try to do is if we can have some kind of Southern Arizona flavor to every display. Well, Tony, people might not know, actually has family here in Tucson. Besides the fact that, like I said, we not only grew up together, but he was in our wedding. So he's got a couple ties to Tucson.
That's awesome. That's an unbelievable story, right? I swear, every time I talk to you, Bob, I learn something new. New.
Well, I know. Hey, you keep saying 1977, and I'm a numbers head, right?
Okay.
And I keep doing the math. I'm like, ooh, man, that was 2 years ago.
I keep listening. I'm like, that's when I was born.
I wasn't even born yet.
I'm like, man.
Yep.
Great stuff.
Yeah, you got to do the math. But it's like, well, hey, it is what it is. Like I said, I told you, we got married in 75. Those people have been around for a long time. No, we were married in college. And so we'll have our 50th next year, God willing, that we're still around here. You just never know when you get to this point.
Right. It is the fireside chat involving the great basketball Hall of Famer, Julius Erving. It's at Palo Verde High School on Thursday, January the 16th. Head on over to the African American Museum of Southern Arizona. That is www.aamsaz.org for more information on how you can come out and have a chance to view. So it'll be Dr. J. Who else will be involved in talking that night?
Well, when we do our fireside chats, I get the chance to play David Letterman.
Yeah, and you do a very good job of it.
So to be Julius and I up on the stage with a fireside log behind us. And with Julius, though, we'll have some special video clips. Because people might not remember all the stuff he used to do on the floor. It was crazy.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how they don't remember it. I'm like, what?
I remember one game. Julius caught an outlet pass at half court, took one dribble, took off on the free throw line and dunked it. And the officials looked at each other like, crowd's going crazy. I think you better go back on defense.
He was the first high flyer. He was the first big-time high flyer of that 70s era, for sure. Bob, we appreciate...
Well, he was the reason for the merger.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, ABA,
the NBA and the NBA.
Yep. Mm-hmm. The NBA, they were smart back in that day. They knew they knew how to begin to build, what would come after that with, obviously him getting it going, and then, Irving Johnson and Larry Bird a few years later, and then that was kind of really the start of the popularity of the National Basketball Association there in the late 1970s, early 1980s. Bob, hey, we appreciate it as always. We look forward to chatting with you again, and then we look forward to being out there that night and getting a chance to be a part of that fabulous event.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me, guys.
Bob Elliott, class of 1977. Big Bird. Bob Elliott. All right, we'll get a break in here. Come back, much more, getting you set for Arizona and TCU tonight at McHale Center. Tip-off coming up at 6 o'clock. It's Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Kelvin Efon is here. JW Madden. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Our window depot coverage of Arizona basketball is just getting started. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 1 of the pregame show is brought to you by Desert Diamond Casinos, First Chiropractic, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing, Restaurant Supply Store, Royal GMC Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, the Polston Results Team with Keller Williams Southern Arizona, the Window Depot, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
JT Auto, where customers are family. Trust your vehicle to JT Auto professional and reliable automotive repair and maintenance services. JT Auto is conveniently located off Fort Lowell and Country Club. Open Monday through Friday. JT Auto is a full-service auto shop with satisfaction guaranteed, offering you the best in tires and wheels, auto repair, oil changes, computer diagnostics, suspension and brake service, and heating and AC. Bring your car to JT Auto, where customers are family. 623-7066. That's 623-7066.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
It's not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Go Wildcats! As a new season starts, the Tucson Police Department bears down with the Tucson community. We are looking to build our team, and we need you. Interested in joining our starting lineup? Visit jointucsonpd.org. Join our team and score a great career. From our commissioned officers to our professional staff, the Tucson Police Department proudly stands behind the Arizona Wildcats. Bear down and apply today at jointucsonpd.org.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in.
This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead, live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Thana Autumn Nation.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Buick GMC, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Buick GMC, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Buick GMC, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Buick GMC, in the Auto Mall and at RoyalTucson.com.
The garage is more than a place to park your car. It holds prized possessions, and for most, it's a bustling entryway to the home. That's why LiftMaster designed the first ever opener with a built-in wide-angle camera and two-way audio, so you can see what matters and secure what's inside. Ensure your family and prized possessions are secure with a reliable garage door opener that's built to last and powered by MyQ for smartphone control. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit kaisergarage.com to learn more.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 five-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Priebus turnaround, gets it off, and it rolls in for two. Oh my! KJ Lewis slams it home. Stolen away by Bradley. Caleb on a breakaway windmill jam.
Arizona basketball never sleeps. Bear down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. The Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We're getting closer to tip-off for today's Arizona basketball game. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Bonds lost the ball, taken away by KJ Lewis. Arizona ball the other way, lead pass down to Love. KJ lays it in. Caleb Love has equaled his season high with 24 points, and the Wildcats lead the Chippewas 71-32.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
Hour number 2 of our pregame show, we will hear from the fellows on Caleb Love, who has found his scoring punch, at least the last 2 games of the non-conference. We'll tell you about those numbers here in a moment. Spotlight on a Cat this hour. Carter Bryant has moved up with the injuries to Mo Krivas into a role as the 4-man at times on this team. So playing a little 3, also playing a little 4 is Henry Vasar. We're going to chat with Pete Souza. He will call the game tonight on ESPN+. First time we've had Pete Souza on a broadcast. He is your view from courtside tonight, brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. That'll be coming up about 4:50 this evening. Also, Steven Johnson from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram still to come. He'll be with us at 4:10 and give us a scouting report on TCU, which after that we will find out who our pests of the game are going to be tonight. Who will be those horned frogs that get underneath the skin or maybe the uniform of your Arizona Wildcats tonight at McHale Center. Fourth all-time meeting between these two teams. TCU actually leads the all-time series with the Wildcats 2-1. That most recent meeting coming in the NCAA tournament, which Arizona would rally to win. The first two meetings took place way back in 1939 and 1952. So this is only the second time in the modern basketball era that these two teams have gotten together. Caleb Love in the two games prior to Christmas, 23 points against Samford, 24 points against Central Michigan. He now has 44 career games in NCAA Division I basketball where he has scored 20-plus points. And, of course, Tommy Lloyd says everything that they do offensively revolves around Caleb Love.
He's a guy that, I guess the trendy term in basketball is gravity. He has a lot of gravity. He has a lot of eyes on him, a lot of bodies, a lot of things go towards him. So he can create space for others. And, I think, even though the last couple games at Delhi maybe hasn't started well, he told me today that maybe I should think about having him finish rather than start, jokingly at the end of the game, because he's made his last few shots, in these games. But I think even starting him a little bit, it's kind of, you feel the effects of both their gravity. It just creates some openings out there for other guys to operate.
Anthony Dell'Orso has moved into the starting lineup the last two games. He's averaging 11 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists since going in to the starting lineup. Gravity, is that? Do you ever use that term for one of your players, Kelvin? Gravity. That's I've not heard that one before.
It's a Steph thing, really.
I'm going to say, that's a pretty new one. But I've had a few guys in my time of coaching that had the gravity to draw guys because of, ability to score, ability to put the ball in the basket from deep, or just no matter where they're at on the floor. It draws people to them, people keeping their eyes on them, and it helps other guys, be available to get offense.
Yeah, I first heard that about 10 years ago, and it was in relations to Steph Curry moving away from the ball and how the defense would move because of the threat of him just being open, just the threat of him being open during that first initial run by the Warriors. That's gravity. It's just how your personal effect on the defense. Guys like Shaq, Jordan, Bird, those are the kind of guys who've just had the ultimate gravity, Kelvin, where you got to worry about where they are on the court at all times. That's gravity.
Well, and gravity, obviously, it really equates to both those guys. Caleb, because what he can do with the ball driving to the basket as well as shooting long distance. And then Anthony, because he is a shooter, and defenses have to know where he is on the floor at all times, because if they don't, and again, he's the best three-point shooter on this team in terms of percentage. Numbers come down a little bit, but still shooting 45% on the season from behind the arc. It was closer to 50 before he went into the lineup. He's missed a few in the last few ball games, but still, most coaches will take, in fact, I think every coach will take 45% shooting from behind the arc. For sure. Also, KJ Lewis on Caleb Love in the last two games starting to operate inside the arc.
We need that. He's being a lot more aggressive, but also, playing into to our system. Finding the right shots for him and for our team. And then, we have no problem with how he's playing. I think it's really great. It spaces the floor out for, drivers like me, Carter, Jaden. Because, again, when he hits a few, first two, it's hard for teams to help off him. And then, he gets, he playing mind games, backdoor cuts and all that. So, it just opens the whole offense up for us for sure.
We said that from the first week, Kelvin, where the extra defensive pressure that Caleb Love's seeing, you need to counteract that by backdoor. You need to counteract that by cutting hard. And talk about those mind games KJ's talking about there. That's just good basketball, is whatever the defense is doing, Kelvin, you got to make them pay for that by going back door when you got extra pressure on the passing lanes.
Yeah, you have to take advantage of it, and that's what I've been seeing here lately. It just seems like he's made a extra effort to get to the basket, to look for what's open instead of just forcing what he want to do. And tonight we're going to get a chance to see if he's opening that up to do it versus the better teams. Again, nothing against the last 2 games that we went against, but these are the games that count. We need to see him do it, and we've seen him do it against big teams. So, but this year right now, this team needs him to be that guy because I feel like it makes everybody else more comfortable.
And at the end of the day, we've talked about this endlessly, but for Caleb Love, it's just all about shot selection. You mentioned how many 20-point games he's got in his college career, DK. 4 of them this year. The only 3 games he's shot over 50% from the field in a game are 3 of those. The other one, he shot 20 field goal attempts for his 20 points. So when Caleb takes good shots and especially gets inside the, pump fake, 2 dribble, 12-foot pull up, that's the first shot that goes down. He start feeling good about himself. Taking good shots within the flow of the offense, that's the biggest key for me for Caleb Love and has been for his whole career, really.
And I was going to say, I will say, making that change with KJ Lewis coming off the bench and Del Orso being in the game, I think that adjustment has opened up the floor as well to give him those opportunities.
It's hard for Caleb when there's no shooters on the court with him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tommy Lloyd was asked this week if he built this roster with play in the Big 12 in mind.
Both, to be honest with you. But, I think if you looked at our past couple teams, I think we were built to play in any conference. And we're going to, recruiting and roster management's never easy. And, there's always, a lot of dominoes that happen. And to end up, that if you kind of reverse engineered and retold the story, you can kind of figure out how you ended up in certain spots, with a roster. And, I feel good. But, we always want to have a team that's physically capable of competing with anybody. And, hopefully a team that has enough depth to, whether it's absorb an injury or absorb foul trouble. And, and when obviously we love size, we love physicality, we like good athletes. So to me, that's high-level college basketball. And so we're going to, first and foremost, build a roster looking for some of those components. But, we understand that just the physical nature and then the defensive, kind of prowess of this conference, you have to be able to compete, and you have to be great defensively, and you're going to have to be able to compete physically. So, we tried to address those things when we built the roster.
All right, Arizona and TCU are not ranked this currently, but there are 3 ranked teams in the Big 12 Conference who are on the schedule tonight to open up Big 12 Conference play.
Let's take a look at what's happening today around the rest of the country. Scoreboard is brought to you by Goldberg and Osborne. Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers.
All right, the first game of the night gets underway in about an hour and 15 minutes. That'll be in Manhattan, Kansas. Number 16, Cincinnati, will be at the Wildcats of K-State. Cincinnati 10-1 on the season, so we'll see how they contend in their road opener. In fact, all 3 of these ranked teams are on the road tonight, so we'll find out a lot about what this conference. It's going to be very interesting to see what the win-losses are going to be at the end of the night. Number 14, Houston, 8-3, on the road at 8-3 Oklahoma State. The Cowboys are unranked, and number 3, Iowa State, will open up Big 12 conference play in Boulder against Colorado. Colorado is 9-2. So 3 ranked teams on the road tonight in the Big 12 conference to open things up. TCU and Arizona is the lone other game on the schedule this evening. No other major games on the docket tonight in terms of the top 25. Number 2, Auburn will host Monmouth. And the only other game involving a top 5 team we gave you already, and that was the game with Iowa State. One final already in. Number 18, Michigan State beat Western Michigan today, 80-62. That's a check of your scoreboard.
Scoreboard is brought to you by Goldberg and Osborne. Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers.
Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day, Wildcats, TCU coming up. Tip-off 6 o'clock tonight at McHale Center. Much more straight ahead. We'll shine a spotlight on one of your Wildcats next. Along with Kelvin Efon and J.W. Madden, I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball is getting you closer to tip-off. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 2 of the pregame show is brought to you by Dave & Buster's Tucson, Dorado Rock, Goodfellas AC, Humane Society of Southern Arizona, Lexus of Tucson, Recon Auto Detail, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Rocking KA Master Plan Community designed by nature, University Termite and Pest Control, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rocking K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. In the top-rated Vail School District, Rocking K is close to work, shopping, and services. Tour 18 model homes by top-tier builders offering move-in ready homes and special incentives. LiveRockingK.com. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
With cooler weather on the way, many of us are turning on our furnaces for the first time this season. We hope everything runs smoothly, but if you notice strange noises, frequent cycling, or no heat at all, give Rightway a call. Right now, we're offering a complete system tune-up for just $65, plus a free carbon monoxide test for your peace of mind. Don't wait till it's too late. Call Rightway, 520-549-1914 to schedule your $65 complete system tune-up.
Do you trust those in charge of your financial future? Trust is founded on 3 core principles: competence, honesty, and benevolence. Those making decisions about your financial future should always place your best interest ahead of their own. I'm Natalie Fernandez-Lee, and at Meridian Wealth Management, fostering trusted relationships with our clients is our top priority. Call us at 719-1433 or visit meridianwealthllc.com to learn more today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
My helmet saved me after they crashed into my motorcycle, but I still couldn't ride for weeks. The insurance company tried hammering me into a quick settlement. No way. I gave them the bird, the eagle. Goldberg and Osborne. Nobody knows Arizona like the eagle. Phoenix to Tucson, Flagstaff to Havasu, and every bit of blacktop in between. Wherever you go, the eagle is there. So if you've been injured, don't wait. Give the insurance company the bird.
Give them the bird. Call the Eagle. Goldberg and Osborne. 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Make the right choice for your home when it comes to windows and doors. For more than 20 years, the Window Depot has provided the best price and biggest inventory on in-stock windows and doors. The Window Depot is open to the public, so whether you're a homeowner or a contractor, you can shop the enormous warehouse. Browse the shelves with over 1,000 vinyl windows, interior and patio doors, and skylights in several varieties and sizes available to go home today. Shop thewindowdepot.com or find a location near you. The Window Depot. Best price, biggest inventory.
Well, boss, how's the sleigh?
It's amazing. Like it just flew off the showroom floor. Sparkling clean, no chimney dust, and I've never seen his nose so bright.
Recon Auto Detailing.
Recon gift cards to all, and to all a clean ride.
Give Recon Auto Detailing gift cards, and Arizona's premier auto detailing company will come do a basic cleaning or a jaw-dropping full detail, including a ceramic finish for anyone on your list. Get your Recon Auto Detailing gift cards now online at recondetail.com.
Driving the lane, dunking on the competition, and playing as a team. These are things we'll see this season watching our Wildcats play basketball. These happen to be the things you'll also find when you buy your next vehicle from O'Reilly Chevrolet. The only difference is at O'Reilly, nobody gets penalized for traveling. Heck, we actually encourage it. See us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or find new roads at O'Reilly.com, where you can experience our version of a steal. O'Reilly Chevrolet, more than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats radio broadcast. 2 powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. coolwillies.com.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the Captain Kelvin Ifan, and J.W. Madden.
Back to Bryant. He'll take the three out there. The rainbow three is good. Lexus of Tucson Charity three.
Carter Bryant looked to the heavens there. He has a really nice looking shot. It's a matter of confidence. Arizona could use a few knockdown shots from Carter Bryant to build that confidence.
He missed his last 6 from outside the arc. That had to feel good.
Our pregame show Spotlight on a Cat is brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Carter Bryant, 6'8", freshman forward out of Riverside, California, Corona Centennial High School. Has started 3 games for the Wildcats this year. Coming off the bench, though, again, 8 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals in that game against Central Michigan. And we mentioned that he's kind of got a new role since the injury to Mo Krivas. He's been playing a little bit more of the 4 spot now for the Wildcats. So moving up from small forward to power forward. But one of the things that Tommy Lloyd really likes about Carter Bryant in that spot is just his ability to facilitate for others.
Well, one of the greatest things about Carter when he was, young is his ability to pass the basketball and his willingness to pass it. And I think we're kind of seeing that again. And then he can also make a catch and shoot 3. So he showed that again, and now he's got a better understanding of what we're trying to do defensively, and he's kind of just settling in. And I think that's exciting for Arizona basketball.
Yeah, and again, Carter, so far this season, 17 assists in 11 games. That's not a bad number for a freshman big man coming in.
No, it isn't. How many turnovers?
Only 6.
Yeah, no, that's not bad
so
at
that's
all.
3 to 1 right there, right?
And I actually like him
3
a
to
little
2,
bit.
maybe.
Yeah, I like him a
1.
little bit better at the 4, being that he's young. Because you're going against guys that don't have necessary can pressure him on the perimeter like guards can. So I think that it makes it a little easier for him when he's in that position at the 4, because naturally, growing up as a kid, he had to play a lot of that position, so he's comfortable with it. But with guard skills, when you're able to go to that free throw line, or you're able to play against the 4 men who are bigger guys who usually play off of you a little bit, it opens up more passing windows.
Yeah, and the best thing about Carter is he's clearly a heady guy. He clearly cares deeply about fundamentals and working on his craft. And, Kelvin, when you have a young man like that with that kind of length and size, he's been used to going up against guards, like you said. Getting up against those 4s going to be a little easier. But my favorite thing about him, he just lets it come to him. He's not out there trying to force a lot of stuff. And those turnover numbers speak to that. Because you're talking about how many times, Kelvin, that's a really fast-paced game out there for an 18-year-old to come into this level of basketball and be, not sloppy with the ball out there, trying to make things happen, especially when your offense is struggling. So, yeah, the young man, his shot is his stroke is really pure. It's going to come around. Don't worry about Carter Bryant's shooting ability. Confidence. You heard Rhino say it right there, Kelvin. He's just got to shoot that with confidence. The mechanics are there.
And I even think he's going to be able to get more shots up with playing against the forwards as well. I think playing against the guards, again, they all up in you. Guards pressure. A lot of times these forwards, they play drop coverage, and it offers more opportunities for a guy like him to be aggressive.
And there's so many 6'3", 6'4", 240-pound guards in this league. There's so much. Look around the Big 12. It's a lot of, linebacker-looking guys. And so when you're 6'9", and you got long arms, 6'8", whatever, he's going to have a height advantage in a lot of those situations, even if he gets switched off on 3s or 2s, Kelvin, because in general, the Big 12's a lot shorter, stockier, really physical guys, as opposed to some of that length he might have seen by playing against some of the Washington skinnier, lengthy guys is what the conference we're coming from. Shorter, stockier guys is what they're going to.
He is our spotlight on a cat. Let's hear from Carter Bryant this segment. And he talked about really the Cats kind of sticking together through that very rough non-conference road.
The biggest thing is knowing that we see each other's work every day, that we do care for each other and love each other as brothers. We see each other in the gym every day. We see each other pushing each other in the weight room. So just understanding that there's so much more to basketball than actually playing the games. There's so much more work that goes in the unseen hours of guys all throughout the team. So understanding that we just can't splinter. We have to stick together. We have to galvanize. We have to reinforce everything. So when the time comes for us to kind of blossom, because I feel like you see a lot of teams every year that blossom really early, and you look late in the season, you're like, wow, they looked really good early, but what happened? So just allowing us to have God's timing on that and just letting that come to fruition.
These past 2 games, your roles kind of changed a little bit, getting more time at the 4. How have you adjusted to that?
I mean, I love it. I just love being on the floor and playing basketball. So just giving me more of an opportunity to be on the floor. It's hard when you're playing next to guys like Anthony Delorso and KJ. They're big-time guys. They're guys that are elite. They do really good things on both sides of basketball. But I think also allowing me to play on the floor at the same time as him, I think it brings just a spark that nobody else is going to have in the country. Two big guards that can rebound the basketball, can push, can defend. I think it's going to be hard for teams in the Big 12 to kind of see us as the season goes on and we get more accustomed to the physicality and things of that nature for us to be stopped coming off the bench.
You're more comfortable, more confident?
I would say just the confidence and the comfortability just comes from trusting my work. Things that I do with working out with him, with C-Love, with Jaden, with Deli, Rem, TJ, all those guys. I think it just comes from that. It wasn't necessarily a lack of confidence. I just think it fit the role better for what the team needed, especially with Mo being out now.
Carter, how much zone did you face in high school?
A ton. A ton,
Okay.
yeah.
So did you feel comfortable going up against something like that?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, like KJ said earlier, just moving the ball, getting the ball from side to side, allowing the high post to kind of operate, turn and face, and kind of look at your options. If you're flashing, you got to look down at your opposite big that's down, and you got to look at your corners to see who's kind of flat, who's spread, who's high. And I think like we saw, KJ got a backdoor layup for the and one, and he got a dunk as well. So just understanding basketball, certain guys have to pull because of the gravity of certain individuals. Like if you have Caleb in the strong side corner, you know you can rip to his side because he's not. No guys are going to help too much. But obviously, like a guy we have like with KJ. He's just so active, and he has so much gravity on the offensive boards that you can't necessarily leave him. So because you know he's going to come in for cleanup.
Carter, what about you got a few minutes at the 4 this week? How's that gone for you? And do you feel like it's a big adjustment? I mean, Tommy basically said that it's tough in his system. The difference between 3 and 4, especially for a freshman. Do you agree with that? Or?
Yeah, I mean everything's going to be a hard adjustment for a freshman, whether it's on or off the court. But I think having the group of guys I have around me and them being leaders, especially KJ, he's just been talking to me and telling me to keep going. He's a guy last year, everybody saw what he was capable of. And I think coming back this year, he just doesn't want me to lose confidence. So he's just been preaching life into me constantly breathing healthy and positive energy to me. And I think, like I said, he's been a large part of why the transition's been easy, especially playing next to a guy like him, knowing that I don't have to do everything on the floor, because I think we see a lot of the time, like with a guy like KJ, especially on the defensive end, like he flies around. So me kind of coming in and seeing what he did to get on the floor immediately last year, I kind of wanted to come and be very similar in terms of how I can have an impact on the game.
When you are at the 4, what are the biggest differences for you in this system at this level? Obviously, you played it before in high school.
Yeah, I wouldn't say there's too many differences because obviously you guys saw me on the perimeter a lot still coming off a ball screen, making reads and things of that nature. But I would just say just being more physical. I think I did a good job at the 3 being physical, but just taking the next step, whether it's rebounding defensively or offensively, kind of getting down there and battling with the big fellas. I mean, I don't really see it as adjustment, though.
Looking to make for the next game?
I think just learning my guys better, looking back on the film that we have from our non-conference games and just paying attention to the small, intricate details, like where guys like Caleb love shooting, where guys like Deli like getting their shots, understanding if certain teams are in certain coverages with this guy or that guy, like understanding teams are probably not the best idea, but teams with are going to be probably in more zero, which is a drop coverage with KJ. So maybe I set it a little lower so we can get to downhill a little bit more, understanding where guys like Conrad, how I can just be more involved in the offense or rebound, or just looking back on defensive film, because obviously we're not a team that's perfect, but we're just where we want to be. So just moving forward, just finding where we can get better.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We have the Arizona Wildcats covered on game day like no one else. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
Yeah, that was Carter Bryant, your spotlight on a cat. What I really like about what he said there was just, especially that last comment when he was talking about what he can do to make his other teammates better. I mean, how many freshmen can could even come in and verbalize here's what I'm seeing. Here's how I can, get the ball better to Caleb or get the ball better to KJ and some of these other guys to allow them to be better effective pieces in our offense. We talked about kind of that with Jaden Bradley and maybe Jaden being a little bit better at getting other guys involved. Carter seems to have an understanding of that mentality at his young age.
You mean the end there where he was answering question by Priscilla Mugwa?
Yeah.
That part? Is that what you're talking about?
Absolutely. Priscilla Mugwa, our Priscilla Mugwa.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when we first played this during the post and Kelvin and I made eye contact and the young man it's one thing to understand basketball. It's another thing to be able to verbalize it like that, Kelvin. Yeah. I mean, if that young man wants to be a coach someday, that's in his future if he wants. Because understanding that zero coverage, the drop, how he needs to set his screen for KJ as opposed to Caleb Love, I mean, that's a little bit more advanced. And obviously, like I said earlier, he clearly is a young man who thinks his way through the game.
And I was telling DK in here, I said, I'm gonna let my son listen to him. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna let I ain't one for let my son just listen to anybody, but just his understanding of team and understanding of what is needed from him to be effective with the team, and he's selfless, and that's what you want to hear, from young guys. Most of the time, you come in, guys, I want to start and I want to do this and I want to do that. He's more concerned with what things that he could do to help the team be successful. And I always have to commend the family, the father, the basketball guy that's behind them, because there's no luck when you get kids that come in with this type of maturity. That's not luck at all. It's somebody put a lot of work into him for sure.
He talked about the mentorship that he is getting from his sophomore teammate, KJ Lewis. Tommy Lloyd elaborated on how important that is for a guy like Carter to have a guy like KJ.
I think there's a little bit of a big brother, little brother deal there. I think, Carter's a guy who, he's loved by all, but he's got two younger sisters. He's always been the oldest sibling. And I think, KJ's kind of taken a little bit of a role in his life as just kind of the guy that's a year or two older, a mentor. Hey, I've been through this. This is what you got to be thinking about. And here's how you got to approach it. There's going to be some tough days. And I think, and Carter's an emotional guy. And so is KJ. So I think it's important for both of them to talk things out and talk to each other and through tough times. It can't always come from coach because, sometimes coming from me, the message might be pretty direct or, it might be a little abrasive. So when they can get it from each other, I think that support's amazing.
No question about that. No question about that. When you can have an older teammate that's been through the wars, help you kind of roll through that in your freshman year.
And even better, J-Dub, that he's basically only a year older.
Yeah.
Right.
Not so, real much.
Right, right. Because sometimes older guys, I ain't got time for this freshman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I ain't got time, man. I got time to be spending a lot of time with that. But a sophomore who's basically a year older than you went through what you went through last year, so his memory is fresh of being a freshman. And Carter Bryant watched every game and saw the success that he had coming into it and understood that he had to earn his minutes. It took time for him to get on the floor and figure out how he was going to be effective with this team. So I think that's what's helping him more than anything is understanding that you have to play a role first before you can end up in this situation. KJ didn't become a starter until this year. He put in all the work and did all the little things to get to that position. Carter kind of got a start or two in there a little bit here early, but he has a chance to learn from a guy like KJ that says, look, man, don't get too high, don't get too low. Understand that as long as you're able to get in the game and affect the game, you're going in the right direction.
It is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. When we come back, we'll find out a little bit more about the TCU Horned Frogs who come in here limping, to say the least. We'll chat with Stephen Johnson from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram to get your scouting report on Texas Christian. Along with Kelvin Efon and JW Madden, my name is David Kelly. Glad you could be with us. If you want to be a part of the show, go ahead and text us 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. We've gotten a few texts already. We'll get to those before the show. You can also interact on any of our social media platforms. We are back to streaming live, video-wise, on Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitch. So head on over to any of those. Twitter as well. No stream there, but you can also always interact with the show on Twitter at Wildcats 1290. You are listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
That's today's Spotlight on a Cat has been brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Buick GMC, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Buick GMC, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Buick GMC, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Buick GMC, in the Auto Mall and at RoyalTucson.com.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rock & Kay, nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills. Enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Hit the community trails, explore local parks like Saguaro National and Colossal Cave, and mingle at private Diamond Community Park events. In the top-rated Vail School District, Rock & Kay is close to work, shopping, and services. Tour 11 different model homes by top-tier builders, offering move-in-ready homes and special incentives. Live RockandK.com. Designed by Nature, proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
It's December in Tucson, and yes, it's cold outside, but we're here to help with our $79 Furnace Diagnostic Service Special and our $79 Water Heater Flush that includes a free plumbing inspection. Call us at 520-492-0748 or picturerockschooling.com. And on behalf of our entire team, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing.
Cantina nachos, strawberry watermelon margaritas, a few zombie kills, and all your favorite sports teams live. When your day calls for some winning, it's time for Dave & Buster's, where you can eat, drink, play, and watch all the sports you want. They've got massive HD TVs, hundreds of the hottest new games, a chef-crafted menu, and an incredible list of beers, wines, and cocktails. So remember, if your day calls for a little victory, a little triumph, a little win, it's probably calling for Dave & Buster's.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Thana Ogden Nation.
The Window Depot is more than a window store. The Window Depot is a one-stop warehouse with everything you need for your complete home remodel. Shop the aisles of pre-built cabinets in a variety of colors, granite and quartz countertops, sinks, skylights, and hardware to complete your project. Need a custom order? We can help. Our designers offer free design services and can special order everything you need for your kitchen or bathroom remodel today. Shop thewindowdepot.com or find a location near you. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
First of all, I want to wish a happy birthday to LeBron James and Tiger Woods.
Ooh, happy birthday.
And also, today is the anniversary of the TV premiere of Let's Make a Deal back in 1963, and I think that's a perfect phrase for our red tag sale right now. Let's make a deal. Come on down. There's still some time. Here to tell you more is O'Reilly's Jamie Garcia.
Yes, but it is running out. Come see us for the red tag savings here at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Take up to $11,000 off the new 2024 Silverado. You can lease the new Equinox EV for $395 a month for 36 months, or take up to $4,000 off the new 2024 Tahoe and 2024 Suburban. Of course, this is with your approved credit, so come see us right now for all the details.
And the great thing is you don't have to choose between a curtain or a box or any of that.
Exactly.
You can go right to the car and you're a winner. We're on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or go to O'Reilly.com. O'Reilly Chevrolet, giving you more since 1924.
Together, let's drive.
Come on down.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Efon, and J.W. Madden.
All right, let's take a closer look at tonight's basketball opponent, the TCU Horned Frogs. Pleased to be joined once again by Steven Johnson from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Had a chance to talk to him during the football season when the Wildcats went down to Fort Worth and did not perform very well in that ball game. Well, first of all, Stephen, a pretty good end of the season for TCU, going to their bowl game over in New Mexico and trouncing Louisiana. Well, what was the overall feeling on the way things ended for Sonny Dykes' crew?
Well, I think if you look at it, they closed the year pretty strong, 6-1 in the final 7 games. I think some of the fan base is still a bit sour. They felt like maybe TCU let 1 or 2 of those games early in the year slip away. There's a chance TCU could have been playing for the Big 12 title or even making it to the playoff. But 2024 is always a building block year, I think, for the program. And I think it was successful in that regard. You got to learn how to win, man. It's not easy. So I think with what they showed in the bowl game and down the stretch of the season, they should go into 2025. I think it's probably one of the 2 or 3 teams that I think should be one of the favorites of the Big 12. So I think it was a strong bounce-back season for Sonny Dykes, and now they're building towards what they hope is a championship contender in 2025.
And now we have arrived for Big 12 basketball here tonight. The Wildcats' first foray into this new conference. It'll be against a Jamie Dixon squad that comes in here, looks like maybe early in the season, facing some of the same types of struggles through the non-conference that the Arizona Wildcats have. We thought we were going to get a chance to see our old nemesis, Frankie Collins, but obviously that's not going to be the case with him breaking his foot earlier this month. How has that changed this ball club with him being out?
Oh, it's changed a lot, man. Frankie, at the time, Frankie was leading them in points, assists, and steals, while also being just kind of like the heart and soul of the team. So I think when Frankie was on the floor, TCU was kind of able to play with the speed he likes to play. TCU's been the number 1 fast break team, I think, the last 2 or 3 years, going back to when they had Mike Miles and Damian Ball. So they want to run, but without him on the floor, from the games I've seen, it's only been a couple. I don't know if they play with the same exact speed, same exact tempo. And Frankie is such a great slasher. He's the guy that normally does the best job of penetrating and kicking and things like that. So without question, it's a big loss for TCU. And I know it's one. Jamie Dixon felt like they upgraded at the guard spot, largely because they signed Frankie Collins. So it's a significant loss for TCU this season.
We're chatting with Stephen Johnson. He is the beat writer for the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, covering TCU Horned Frogs men's basketball. Our scouting report brought to you by Jack Farrier Tire and Auto Care. Jack Farrier, since 1960, we're here to get you there. I mean, it is a very contrast in styles, although, like you mentioned, both of these teams are going to want to get out and run. The Horned Frogs, though, are very adept to keeping teams from getting out and running. One of the best defensive teams in the nation in terms of scoring, holding teams under 64 points so far this season, putting them in the top 30 nationally in that respect. What have been the keys defensively for this Horned Frog squad?
Well, big part was Collins kind of playing that point guard position also on defense. You could kind of put him on the best guard, the best playmaker, and he would do a really good job kind of neutralizing them. He prides himself on defense and believes he's one of the best defenders in the country. So the defensive effort has so far still been fine without him, but, they just played South Alabama and Montana State. So this will be the first real test to see how the defense performs. But I think, honestly, the 2 biggest keys have been Ernest Uday and David Punch kind of down the middle. I think TCU has 2 high-level rim protectors that can both block shots and alter shots. So those guys, even when the guards are getting beat on the perimeter, they have 2 safety nets. They recently put Punch into the line to kind of play a little bit bigger, I think. So I think the rim protection is really what separates TCU so far. And I think that will have to be, they're going to have to make this kind of an ugly game, probably in the 60s, maybe even in the 50s to win. So I think if they do, it'll be because those 2 guys down low really just make things tough on Arizona.
Yeah, and you mentioned obviously that the tempo has picked up a lot since the last time we saw TCU in the NCAA tournament during Tommy Lloyd's first season. And what has been the main reason for that? I know Jamie has talked about that he wanted to kind of pick up the pace, but why did he feel like that was kind of the way they needed to go with this program?
Well, one reason is recruiting. I think it's a really attractive system, especially for guards. Recently, TCU signed one of its highest-rated recruits in program history. And honestly, the last 2 guys they had are like the top 5, 2 of the top 5 recruits in program history. Both of them kind of cited the system. These guys, they want to get out and run. They want to get out on those opportunities where they have that spacing. So I think the opportunity to really, like I said, constantly run. I think TCU at one point was averaging anywhere from 20 to 25 points a game in transition the last 2 seasons. So it's really attractive. You've slowly seen TCU really pick up its recruiting rankings, both in the transfer portal and the high school ranks. And I think TCU really hasn't had a big man that can really like throw the ball down into, maybe since he's been here, at least the last 4 or 5 years. So to kind of counteract that and lessen the need for it, why bog yourself down on the half court when you get numbers out in transition, of course? And then you had great guards like Mike Miles, Damian Ball, even guys like Avery Anderson, Jameer Nelson Jr. last year, guys that really just kind of flourished with their athleticism and space. So I think it was a ploy to make TCU more attractive, to kind of give TCU a signature to stand out, because, Jamie's teams in Pittsburgh were grimy, gritty, defensive teams. It's a bit of a new era, and I think Jamie just wanted to transform himself, and it's been working, but they just haven't been able to run as much this season.
I mean, in a totally kind of rebuilt roster, a lot of new guys, some new faces, transfers in, like we see with a lot of these programs now in this era. Trezarian White comes over from UNC Wilmington. He's a guy, obviously, that's pretty good at the defensive end of the floor. Is he going to be expected to be more of an offensive guy now with Frankie Collins out?
Yeah, absolutely. I think when they signed him, he was a big-time scorer at UNC Wilmington, averaged almost 20 a game, scored 25-plus against a couple of SEC teams. So this is a guy that can fill it up. He's a good shooter. I consider him a 3-level scorer. He can get to the rim a little bit. He's comfortable in the mid-range, but I think his three-point shot has really improved since he got to TCU. So if you're looking for a number one option, especially with the status of Brendan Winslow kind of up in the air, Trezarian White has kind of emerged as that number one guy, or he's starting to emerge, but somebody's going to have to fill that void. I think White probably has the best potential. Noah Reynolds is another guy that kind of waiting to kind of come on, and he was another 20-point-a-game scorer at Green Bay last year. So they're kind of waiting for him to break out. But I would say those are the 2 guys I would definitely watch for if you're kind of looking for who are going to be the main guys TCU's leaning on to score.
And how about Vashawn Alette? Obviously younger guy, but I would imagine he's now getting the primary minutes that lost with Collins out.
Yeah, absolutely. And Vashawn's an interesting guy. I think he's kind of more of that typical 6-man guy, a guy that you just bring off the bench, go kind of the reserves and second, and you just kind of let him cook. So now he's kind of moving into a new role where they still need him to kind of provide that scoring punch. But also now he has to make more plays for others, create for others, has to defend a little bit more. So I think his transition to moving into more of that secondary point guard spot instead of just being a bucket off the bench will be another key storyline for TCU. But he's a guy that can get hot. Look, man, we were just playing one-on-one basketball. I think he would be the best guy just because he has an array of moves, array of dribble moves, and he's not afraid to get his shots up. But his shot selection at times can be questionable, so he'll have to be more efficient in Big 12 play and also grow as a point guard. But he's definitely a microwave, a guy that can heat up and get you 20 points out of nowhere.
Stephen Johnson from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram with our scouting report. It's brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Jack Furrier since 1960. We're here to get you there. Stephen, TCU picked 10th in the Big 12 preseason poll. I know Jamie kind of said, well, I think we're going to maybe surprise some people with that. Now through this preseason at 7-4, where do you think they'll fall now in this 16-team conference?
10th might be right now, just because they really, even when they were healthy, they really struggled in the non-conference. They got a good quality win over Xavier, but you lost games, I think, to Colorado State. You lost to Vanderbilt, Michigan. I would say most of the games that were the competition games where they're stepping up, playing either quality mid-majors or teams from other power conferences. They only won one of those games. So even if Frankie was healthy, even if Winslow was healthy, this will be a team that I think would have a lot more question marks heading into conference play. And now that those 2 guys, their status is up in the air, I think TCU could struggle this season, but you never know. I think it's pivotal. These first 2 games, they got Arizona today, Kansas State at home this weekend. I think it's very pivotal for them to get off to a 1-1 start. You don't want to get into an 0-2 hole after you kind of struggled in the non-conference and things. You just let the season slip away from you.
And obviously, this is our first time in this conference. What are kind of some of the things to expect for folks that have never lived through a Big 12 men's basketball season? Well, we obviously know that this is one of the best leagues in the country, but what is this 20-game run really going to be like as we begin to go through this?
I think it's honestly a lot like football. Honestly, man, there's not. Like, even last year, man, Oklahoma State, I think, was at the bottom of the standings along with UCF. Those two teams were able to knock off a couple quality teams, including TCU. If memory serves me correct, I think UCF even beat Kansas at home. So this is a league where there aren't really any cupcakes, man. Even if a team is at the bottom, like even if TCU ends up being one of those maybe bottom 4 teams, they have more than enough talent to knock off anybody, especially at home at Shaw Meyer Arena. So I think the biggest thing that this league requires is just a relentless focus, man, because you have any drop-off, whether you're going to play a Baylor, Kansas, Oklahoma State, obviously you got to get the big dogs like Houston, you can end up losing, man, especially on the road. Some of the environments you'll see it like a Kansas State, Texas Tech. TCU's environment is okay if they're playing a Texas team, but I think just the road environments and just the fact that there are just no gimmies in this league, man, especially if you're playing on the road. So I think the team that is obviously the healthiest and the team that's able to play with the best effort and the most focus on the game-to-game basis is going to be the team that ends up standing up the top. And I think that's why Houston has been able to kind of transition and really thrive in this league just because of what Kelvin Sampson's able to do with their defensive effort and their attention to detail.
Stephen, give me a few keys to the game for TCU. What you think they got to do to win tonight?
Well, I don't think that they can win this game if it gets above 75, 70. I think this has to be a game. I know this is not TCU strong suit the last couple of years, but I do think this is a game where they have to kind of keep this in the low 60s, in the low 50s, just because I'm not sure they have the firepower to keep up with Arizona, especially if Winslow's out. So keep the game low scoring. Let your defense kind of carry the weight. They must hit their free throws. Their free throws they shot it really well against Montana State, but they've been bad times from the free throw line. And I just think they need to find one of those young guys on the bench, maybe a Michael Robinson, David Punch. They'll need one of these freshmen or redshirt freshmen to really probably break out and maybe can one of those young guys just give them 10 points? Can they give them 10 points? And I think if they can just find one of those guys off the bench to kind of lift up the starting lineup, I think they have a chance. But ultimately, man, there's a reason that TCU is a 15-point underdog, 14-point underdog. So TCU will have his hands full, and they'll need to really just kind of grind this game out and get an upset on the road.
And you mentioned Wenzel's situation, sprained ankle. Has he gone through any practices? What do you believe his status will be?
So when we were first talking before I left, they were kind of thinking that maybe next week would be the week that he would come back around January 8th or so. But sprained ankles it's just all about feel. From what I have been told, I believe he was out of his brace against Montana State. So I think he's making progress. I think I would be a bit surprised if he's able to play tonight. But like I said, man, it's a sprained ankle, so ultimately it's just about their pain tolerance. Are they able to kind of move and cut diagonally? And if he's able to play tonight, Winslow's the best shooter on the team, so that would be a big boost. So I think his stats would be questionable. Jamie is very tight-lipped with injuries. He just leaves it up to the players, man. He's not really a coach that wants to push a guy to play through pain, so it's ultimately up to Winslow. I think he's close to being back, but it might be a bit too early right now.
All right, Stephen. Well, we appreciate you joining us as always, and looking forward to opening up this Big 12 run here tonight in Tucson.
Yes, sir. You guys enjoy the game tonight.
Appreciate that. Stephen Johnson from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram with your scouting report.
And that's the lowdown on the team U of A is about to face on the hardwood. The scouting report has been brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto. Jack Furrier since 1960. We're here to get you there. Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball is getting you closer to tip-off. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 2 of the pregame show is brought to you by Dave & Buster's Tucson, Dorado Rock, Goodfellas AC, Humane Society of Southern Arizona, Lexus of Tucson, Recon Auto Detail, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Rocking KA Master Plan Community designed by nature, University Termite and Pest Control, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Driving the lane, dunking on the competition, and playing as a team. These are things we'll see this season watching our Wildcats play basketball. These happen to be the things you'll also find when you buy your next vehicle from O'Reilly Chevrolet. The only difference is at O'Reilly, nobody gets penalized for traveling. Heck, we actually encourage it. See us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or find new roads at O'Reilly.com, where you can experience our version of a steal. O'Reilly Chevrolet, more than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
It's not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Did you know collecting sports cards is one of the fastest growing hobbies around? Whether you're looking to start or expand your collection, Showtime Cards is your ultimate destination. As one of the leading card shops in the country, they've been serving our community for over 25 years with the best in sports cards and trading card games. From rare finds to the latest releases, Showtime Cards has it all. Check them out at ShowtimeCards.com or visit them today at 5801 East Speedway. And discover why collectors everywhere trust Showtime Cards for their passion.
Back to the holiday shopping adventures of Eugene Snarkle and his best friend Doug.
Hey, Eugene, we waited a little too long to get our shopping done. The shelves are looking pretty empty.
I was thinking of getting everyone a giant-sized bag of Cheezos.
We interrupt Eugene's great idea for this message.
Looking to get on the road but need some maintenance or repairs to your car, truck, SUV, or sleigh to get it road trip ready?
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care has some fantastic year-end savings, like $50 back on any $250 purchase. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care since 1960, here to get you there.
Do you often worry you left your garage door open? With the LiftMaster Garage Door Opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit KaiserGarage.com to learn more.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Visit Lennar's 2 communities in Rockin' K, with home savings up to $25,000 and limited time interest rate and closing cost incentives on select move-in ready homes. LiveRockinK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Broadway in Tucson presents the new 2024-2025 season, featuring 6 blockbuster productions, including Mamma Mia, and the Southern Arizona premieres of Clue, live on stage, Beetlejuice, Some Like It Hot, the Neil Diamond Musical, A Beautiful Noise, and Shucked. Secure your signature season tickets today and get the best seats at the best prices. Visit BroadwayInTucson.com and secure your 2024-2025 season tickets today.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 5-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800 The Eagle.
Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Krivas turned around, gets it off, and it rolls in for 2. Oh my! KJ Lewis slams it home. Stolen away by Bradley. Caleb on a breakaway windmill jam.
Arizona basketball never sleeps.
Bear down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. The Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We're getting closer to tip-off for today's Arizona basketball game. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
A.J. Lewis, top of the circle, handed off to Love and to Martinez. Vasar, Bryant, Carter drives left, throw it inside for Vasar, went to dunk it, it rattled off the rim, off the glass, and then went through.
Nice pass from Carter Bryant, seeing some creativity out of him today.
Let's take a look at the Right Way rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
All right, final hour of our show here as we take you up to network coverage at 5:30, and that'll be with Brian Jeffries and Ryan Hansen. Then, and of course, tip-off is straight ahead at 6 o'clock at McHale Center, and that'll be Wildcats and TCU. Coming up in this last hour, we're going to hear from the head coach, DK with TL, still sponsored by Nobody. We heard from Steven Johnson on the Horned Frogs, but who will be that TCU player that gets underneath the Wildcats' skin tonight? It's your Pest of the Game, brought to you by University Pest and Termite Control. Our view from courtside, Pete Souza will call the game for ESPN tonight. Got a great story here. We're covering alcoholic. We'll hear about his road back from the bottom of despair, of addiction, all the way back to a seat courtside calling college basketball. Best bets, U of A, minus 15.5 point favorite tonight, over under 145.5. Keys to the game, starting lineups, all of that is still to come here tonight before we get you over to McHale Center. DK with TL had a chance to talk with the head coach yesterday ahead of tonight's Big 12 conference opener. Let's hear from the main man about this new conference and just how excited he is and what he anticipates these games over the next course of the next 20 are going to be all about.
I have watched some of the teams, and you look at them and you're like, man, they're really good. Like, how are we going to score on them? I mean, that's right where your mind goes to some of these teams, and so now, hey, listen, the prognosticating, all that stuff's done. It's time. Let's do this. We're excited. We're not going into this thing, covering up or half-hearted. We're all in. We're fired up to be in the Big 12. It's here. We've been talking about this conference stuff for way too long. Let's play the games.
Tommy, obviously they're missing Frankie Collins. What do they look like differently without him on the floor?
Well, they're TCU and Jamie Dixon, it's a program. It's not about a player. And, he's had so much success over a long career. And Jamie's one of the class acts in our business. And so, missing one player, I'm sure it sets him back. And obviously we know Frankie Collins is a good player. We played against him every year I've been here. But Jamie, there's no tricks up his sleeve, but what it is just rock solid. I mean, they're a great defensive team. I mean, they got this big guy, number 8, and his ball screen defense is about as good as you're going to see. And his ability to get his hands on balls from, the way he guards ball screens and the deflections he gets from the 5 position, it's really impressive, and it really caught my attention. So, and then they're so sound. I mean, they do a great job of protecting the paint, and you beat somebody, there's another defender waiting for you. And, they're a team that he basically had to rebuild it from almost scratch. So it's just impressive to see how good defensively they are so early, and kind of their tenure with him. I'm sure they're a little bit like us. They feel like they're finding their way a little bit. Have a lot of new pieces, but I think that they probably feel like they're their best days ahead, and they've been building to play in the conference just like we have. So, you have 2 teams that are going to be 0-0 that are looking to get off to a good start on a 20-game gauntlet.
Obviously, Conrad had a really good game last time out. What's the next step in his development to where he can be a guy that can be on the court for 20 minutes a night?
Well, I don't know about 20 minutes or, I'm not going to, what that would look like. But I think the next step is just him, continuing to be consistently productive in the short stints that he gets. And, it's going to be my job to hopefully give him those opportunities. And, obviously the better job he does with those opportunities, the more he'll earn. But, Conrad's somebody that I have confidence in. And he, like a lot of these guys, he's a younger player who's kind of finding his way. And, certainly he has some things to overcome on the court physically. But, I think when you think about his IQ and his heart, they're impressive. And I definitely want, IQ and heart to be in the DNA in our program. So, I'm hopeful to find him more and more opportunities.
Caleb at the defensive end a few times, Tommy, in that last game. He seemed to lose his man on occasion. What's the technique to make sure that he doesn't help too much and still?
I mean, I would have to see the exact scenarios you're talking about to speak to them. But listen, Caleb's somebody, who maybe people have questioned his defense a little bit. And, maybe early some of this year, it wasn't where we would like it to be. But I think he's turning the corner there. I really do. I mean, I'm seeing less and less mistakes. And here's the deal. Mistakes are going to happen. I mean, it's a game of mistakes. And limiting the mistakes and then responding to them ultimately probably determines a lot of the outcome of the game. So, if Caleb makes a mistake here and there, it doesn't mean he's playing bad defense, but if you have a reputation for somebody who's not a great defender and you make a mistake, you're getting better, but you make one mistake, sometimes people hang on to that. And so, listen, I see a guy that's really giving effort there and trying, and I'm going to stay on him and hold him accountable for it. But right now, I mean, the trend that I'm seeing is he's doing a better job holding himself accountable. And to me, that's the most important thing.
With Vesar at the defensive end, he had the play when he had the block. He defended the perimeter, then he got the corner, then he came back to get the block. Can he be that type of all-around defensive guy?
He needs to be, and he can be for sure. I mean, and Henry, has a lot of versatility and size, and he has solid mobility. He just needs to really tap into giving maximum effort for longer stretches, and sometimes when you have a guy that his physical stature, it takes him a while to learn that, because they kind of, when you grow to be that big, obviously there's some awkward moments in your development and coordination and physical strength, and those things kind of have to align over time to give you, to be able to take advantage of your physical, gifts. And so, we're fighting for that right now with Henry to help him continue to, give more effort in certain areas on defense. And, I was on him today about it. And I think it's coming, and I think it'll come with a little bit more of some just experience and a little bit more of physical maturity.
What'd you take away from getting to meet Snoop yesterday?
Great guy. I mean, he's a one of one, it was really cool. I mean, obviously I grew up on that music, and so, yeah, I mean, it was really cool that he came to Tucson. I mean, obviously we Tucsonans that live here love this place, and it's great to be able to share it with others and kind of put it on the platform, and that's really cool, I mean, I didn't really get to see much of the bowl game, but I heard it sounds like there was a great turnout, and anytime we can show Tucson off, especially in the winter, I think that's a great thing because this is a special place.
All right, that is the head coach of your Arizona Wildcats, Tommy Lloyd. DK with TL, as always, sponsored by nobody. If you want to jump on board and sponsor my questions weekly to the head coach, give us a call, 520-887-1000. It is very, very easy for you to get on board with that as we get you set for the game. I want to read you, we've had some people text in that wanted to be a part of the show today. Our guy, Fred Scheib, who's always paying attention over in New Jersey, says excited. Tonight might be the first win against a real team, Power 5. Maybe not a good team, not quad 1, I think, but 0-5 for Arizona. You got to take baby steps. We can have dreams of maybe someday in the future getting a quad 1 win, maybe even this season. Number 1, he says, I'd like to see no plays where stronger, tougher opponents just take the ball right out of Wildcat hands on rebounds, loose balls, and where we have the ball. Seems like it happened 20 times a game in a lot of the Arizona losses. There's no question that the Wildcats on the interior Like especially when you look at a guy like Trey Townsend, has got to be better, more strong with the basketball when he gets it inside. That's a problem that he has had for sure. I know you were talking a little bit earlier, J-Dub, in terms of the net ranking, how the Wildcats actually have a higher net ranking than Oklahoma, who was a team that they lost to, despite the fact that they are 0-5. I don't imagine this is going to be a quad one win tonight. TCU is not quite that high.
I don't know where TCU is ranked. I'd have to go look it up. But yeah, Arizona currently, they're 75th. So TCU currently, that's the cutoff, right? Top 75 teams is quad one. So they're right there on the cusp. Arizona currently 25th in net rankings. 25th, 0-5 versus quad one teams. And the aforementioned Oklahoma Sooners guys are 13-0, 5-0 in neutral site games. They are 42nd. They are 17 spots, Kelvin, behind Arizona, who is 0-5, and they haven't lost a game yet. So it depends on who you play, and also it's your opponents' is how the net ranking works. So it's just a lot of math.
So obviously the Wildcats' opponents getting a lot of love in that respect this season, at least to this point. And that's probably only going to get better with the games that you've got coming up here with the start of Big 12 conference play. All right, who might be that horned frog that gets underneath the Wildcats' skin today?
Who is today's Pest of the Game? The Pest of the Game is brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. Check them out at BePestFree.com.
Well, we know it's not going to be Frankie Collins, our old foe from Arizona State University, who came over to TCU and started the first 9 games.
That dude is such a pest. I might vote for him, even though he's in street clothes.
He's not going to play tonight.
Yeah, no. If I think of pest, I think of Frankie Collins, if I'm really honest, Kelvin. I mean, he average like 9 steals a game for his college career, something like that?
He was doing it all for this team. I mean, in 9 games, he was averaging almost 2 steals. He was averaging well over 4 assists per ball game. He had led them in scoring most nights, and there were a few nights where he actually led them in rebounding too. So he was doing quite a bit, almost everything for this club. It's ASU.
Used to do it ASU.
Impressive. Absolutely. So who's going to be tonight, Kelvin? Who's going to be that pest tonight?
I'm going to go with Trezarian White, 6'6", 185 shooter out of Dallas. I think it's a guy that we have to keep make sure we stay close to him and don't let the guy knock down those threes.
It's always a Dallas
Kelvin
thing.
knows where he came from.
UNC Wilmington transfer, another one of my old stomping grounds.
Me? I will go with another shooter. I think that's always going to be my key is the guys who thieve the ball and the guys who knock down shots. So I'll go with Brendan Wenzel because he's their most prolific three-point shooter. Not a great offensive team despite them being so high in the fast break points nationally. TCU struggles in the half court, so in a game like this, some of those threes go down, Kelvin, makes a lot of guys feel good about themselves. So Brendan Wenzel, you got to watch out. Stick with that guy as a shooter.
Okay, now that's the guy that might not, he's got the injured ankle, so we don't know if he's available.
I know he does, and he's going to play.
Oh, he's
yep,
play.
I've
He's
seen
going to play.
I was there no, I don't have any idea whether or not he's going to play or not. But they've got so many injured guys.
Yeah.
There's only so many you can pick from.
All right, I'm going to go with Ernest Uday, Jr., who has started 9 games. He's another guy that's missed a couple of games because of injury, but again, a guy that's a bigger guy who can affect the ball game both inside and outside. Leads the team in block shots with 14, third on the team in steals with 14. So I think that's always, I always like a guy off, and he started a number of games, so he's not really coming off the bench, but he's actually the only returning. We talked about how they've really rebuilt this roster. He's the only returning scholarship player from last year on this roster out of Orlando, Florida.
NIL transfer era.
Uday. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they've got a bunch of guys. Let's just look at some of the schools. Wyoming, their transfers. Wyoming, Old Dominion. They got a Kansas transfer. Uday transferred from Kansas. Frankie, Arizona State. UNC Wilmington, we mentioned. Green Bay. Obviously, that guy got out of there before the whole mayhem with what's the guy at the talk show host from the other network. I can't remember his name right now. Kansas State and that looks like there. So they've got a bunch of different
Wilmington
Power 5 guys. Yeah, absolutely. Doug Gottlieb. Doug Gottlieb was the name.
My old buddy.
There you go. That's right. You lit him up in some camp long ago.
That was Miles' best buddy, right?
Back in the day.
Ernest Uday, though, last year started 29 games, averaged 4 points and 5 rebounds, and has boasted those numbers as a primary starter on this team this year. So Ernest Uday is my pest.
That
of
was
the
a
game.
guy.
He's known as his dad's name is Chi-Chi, so that's pretty cool.
It's a good name. Yeah, anytime you get a big Kelvin who can steal the ball twice per game, he's averaging 2 steals per game from the 4 or 5 position. That's tough.
All right, those are the guys we think will get underneath the Wildcats' skin tonight.
That's today's Pest of the Game. The Pest of the Game is brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. Visit BePestFree.com.
All right, we're going to chat with Pete Souza as we take you courtside straight ahead. It is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Wildcats and Horned Frogs coming up at 6, along with Kelvin Ifan and JW Madden. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hi, this is Peter Costa, former governor of the New York Stock Exchange and proud member of the Advisory Business Council with Meridian Wealth Management. One thing I've learned over 40 years on the floor is the value of a trusting relationship with your financial advisor. After all, everyone is a genius when the markets are going up, but when they drop, that's when the guidance of a professional is most important. For more information about Meridian, call 719-1433 or visit online at meridianwealthllc.com.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Buick GMC, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Buick GMC, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Buick GMC, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer-installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Buick GMC, in the Auto Mall and at RoyalTucson.com.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
It's December in Tucson, and yes, it's cold outside. But we're here to help with our $79 furnace diagnostic service special and our $79 water heater flush that includes a free plumbing inspection. Call us at 520-492-0748 or fixrockschooling.com. And on behalf of our entire team, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Fix Your Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing.
Go Wildcats! As a new season starts, the Tucson Police Department bears down with the Tucson community. We are looking to build our team, and we need you. Interested in joining our starting lineup? Visit jointucsonpd.org. Join our team and score a great career. From our commissioned officers to our professional staff, the Tucson Police Department proudly stands behind the Arizona Wildcats. Bear down and apply today at jointucsonpd.org.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Tohono O'odham Nation.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 five-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Discover Rocking K, a community designed by nature, built for you. Embrace the beauty of the Rincon Mountains' high desert foothills. Explore natural open space, a network of connecting trails, and a community park. Bordering Saguaro National Park, Rocking K is conveniently located to our region's major employers and nationally recognized Vail School District. Tour 10 model homes by 4 award-winning builders and discover why more people are calling Rocking K home. LiveRockingK.com. Proud sponsor of the U of A radio broadcast.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the Captain Kelvin Ifan, and J.W. Madden. It's time now to take you down the front row of the arena. A view from courtside is brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, celebrating 25 years serving Southern Arizona.
All right, in this new existence of ours that escalates tonight with the arrival of the Big 12 Conference, we are getting to meet a lot of new broadcasters who we have not really heard on Arizona basketball before. We talked with Chris Lewis a few weeks ago. And now we will introduce you to Pete Souza, who will call tonight's game on ESPN Plus at McHale Center, from where he joins us right now. And Pete, would I be correct in saying this is your first ever Arizona men's basketball game?
You are correct. Aside from, I feel like the hundreds I watched as a little kid growing up, watching Sean Elliott and watching Steve Kerr and falling in love with Lute Olson and the tradition and stuff. But this is my first time at McHale, and I'm sitting here courtside right now, and I think I'm just as anxious as Tommy Lloyd is to get this thing underway.
So what made you a U of A? What made you fall in love? What made you pick up on Arizona basketball back in the late 1980s?
Timing is everything, right? I was 10 years old in 1987, and Sean Elliott was just unbelievable. And it's the story about coming back from the knee surgery and the brace, and that was for me kind of a touchstone to following Arizona basketball really throughout my life. And Lute Olson obviously was an easy guy to like. And I did sports information for a while in the NBA, so I worked with Andre Iguodala, just one of the best guys. So I really favor the personnel and the players in the history of Arizona basketball. And honestly, DK, I can tell you, it's a real treat for me tonight because I sort of understand this is a new foray into the Big 12 for a lot of Arizona basketball fans who are rabid basketball fans. So they're going to be hearing a lot of new voices calling games this year, whether it's for ESPN or Fox or somebody else, and so it's a privilege.
So, yeah, and let us know, because obviously we've this is our first year in the conference, first year ESPN Plus. We're very used to the way the Pac-12 network used to work. We've had a lot of familiar voices on these non-conference games, and now that we're in the conference, we'll be maybe hearing some less familiar voices. Will you be on a lot of games this season? Or will you because I know you're in Texas, so you're probably more central to this part of the country. Will you be a primary announcer we hear when the Wildcats are on ESPN Plus moving forward?
You will. I know I have another game with Corey Williams. I think that one is going to be maybe the 25th back out here. And then I have an Arizona State game. And we have our schedules about a month in advance. So the more and more things develop, we kind of get every month we get another big chunk. But, yeah, I would think so. If I'm lucky enough to be out here, of course, I will embrace any kind of opportunity like that.
All right, so I have to ask you, Corey Williams is our guy. What are your initial impressions of Mr. Williams? And I'm sure he's going to be dressed to the nine. He might outdress you tonight. You know that, right?
Well, the guy's got a lot of opinions, and I like him. He's good television. I've always thought that. And to meet him, I asked him that. I said, Corey, do you feel like somewhat compromised? Because very clear that he's comfortable in his own skin, giving a fair analysis of the game. But sometimes that fair analysis will come, on commentary against his university. And I think his motives are pure, and so he doesn't have any kind of issue with that. And I've listened to a bunch of his work, just kind of gearing up getting ready for this game, and then, of course, just watching college basketball over the last 15 years. And he does a great job, so I'm super excited. And he really is good television. And this whole thing is character-driven. The game is the story. But when you can tell stories about people and you have characters with experience like Corey, it's pretty cool if you're me sitting in my seat.
We're chatting with Pete Souza, who's going to call the game tonight on ESPN. It is your View from Courtside, brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, serving Arizona for more than 25 years. Pete, you mentioned you did some work in the NBA. You were a PR guy. You also did some broadcast work in the National Basketball Association. You're also a former news anchor. You kind of been all over the place in this thing.
I have, and I'll tell anybody, I never really wanted to get into TV news. I respect the craft, but it just so happened that I ended up getting into that position, and I did it for about 7 years. And what it was doing for me, it was like God doing for me what I really couldn't do for myself, as I'll put it. I ended up just becoming a much better broadcaster. I could always call games, but, you do 8 years of morning television, and you're on the air for 2.5 hours a day. Things really started to come. The game started to slow down for me, as we would call life being the game. So I was able to really kind of dig in to doing play-by-play. And about 3 years ago, I started to get opportunities with ESPN, and then you get a contract, and then you get a bunch of games. So it's a lot of fun.
And you have a very interesting story. You're a recovering alcoholic.
Yeah. You're the man. You're the man for bringing that up. I appreciate that, because I always. Like 13 years ago, which people that know me, it's not hard for them to understand because they were there. But I was like, I had the gift of desperation. I could not stop drinking. And, my life had become just completely a train wreck. And it was, I had the DNA to be an alcoholic. It was all through my dad's family. And so when I kind of came to terms with the fact, okay, I got this thing wrong with me, what can I do about it? I put on my own full court press to get sober. And, every day that's kind of my primary purpose, is to stay sober and maybe carry the message. And I've been able to carry the message now with a little bit of a bigger platform, working in sports and doing stuff with ESPN. So anybody out there, you think you can't stop, or you have a family member that you think they'll never stop, there's always hope. And I'm not hard to find. You can always DM me. If you're ever looking for just anybody to talk to about that stuff.
What was the first? What was for you? What was the thing that got you turned around?
Finally, being broken, waving the white flag, admitting defeat. Why am I trying to control this liquid that has taken complete control of me? Why not just put it on the shelf, right? If it was ketchup, I wouldn't have any problem. So clearly, we were working with something that had a little more depth. And that's really the attitude I had to take. I had to be all in on stopping. And now, it's not something I think about every day. Sometimes I'll be like, wow, I can't believe I've been sober for 13 years, and I'm packing stuff into the stream of life. And I stay grateful. But, I can go anywhere or do anything I need to do as long as I got a singleness of purpose to be somewhere. And it's a great life, beyond my wildest dreams.
And you also do some podcast work where you talk about this. You interview others that have dealt with addiction. How did you get into? Did you feel like that would be an avenue for you to help others, the podcast realm? And
totally,
yeah.
Like when I it's a great question. When I couldn't stop drinking, I would see a documentary on ESPN every so often about like a Dennis Eckersley or like a Darryl Strawberry, somebody who was broken by alcohol and drugs, but then had gotten sober and was sharing that hope. And I told myself, if I ever get any kind of platform, and if I can ever finally stop doing this stuff, I'm going to carry the message like they're doing for me. Am I as big a name as Dennis Eckersley? Absolutely not. But I'm pretty tall, almost as tall as him, and I can talk a little bit. So why not give it a run?
You just didn't have the wicked slider, right?
No, I did not. No.
We're chatting with Pete Souza. It is your view from courtside, brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser serving Arizona for more than 25 years. Before we chat more with Pete, let's pause 10 seconds here and allow stations to identify themselves. It's Arizona Game Day. Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day on Wildcats Radio 1290.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We have the Arizona Wildcats covered on game day like no one else. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
All right, so we'll ask you. We're chatting with Pete Souza, who will call the game tonight for ESPN. We'll ask you. We obviously talked to Steven Johnson from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. What's the status of Brendan Wenzel? Is he gonna go tonight, or are they gonna hold him out?
Okay, I don't think he's gonna go. So from a shoot around today, they had him shoot, right? Like he shot free throws at the end of practice. But outside of that, I did not see him doing anything other than just shoot those free throws at the end. And even that was in question. Like Coach Dixon was like, hey, yeah, you're going to shoot today. The reason I'm telling you this is because on the record, I asked the sports information guy, Steve, and he said he was not expecting him to play tonight, which is huge for Arizona because if there's one thing they've been struggling with, it's been running guys off the line and defending the three. And without Wenzel, they don't really have anybody who they can count on to make threes. So it's going to be an uphill battle for TCU without that depth on the perimeter to shoot the three.
All right, what stands out to you about both of these teams tonight?
Well, I think Arizona's really good, and I think that it was just a tough non-conference start. And I have no reason to believe when you look at the roster, like, this thing won't get turned around. It's tough today. As we all know, you get a new group of players every year. You're in a new conference. Somebody asks you about your rotation. If you're a coach, you're 4 games into the season. You're like, I don't even know who half these guys are. They won't say that. But there's a real merit to that last point. And everybody's kind of figuring each other out on the fly. And you look at Caleb Love and he's struggling shooting the ball, getting the ball in the basket. And nobody on this Arizona team has – I got to whisper now because these guys are running back and forth in front of me. Nobody on this Arizona team – I don't want to get hurt around here – but nobody has been able to step up and take over that scoring role, like really in a legitimate fashion, like Caleb Love is expected to do. And that's because they really haven't figured out their own roles on the team. And I think that the more and more the opportunity that comes with Big 12 play and Big 12 conference play, I think Coach Lloyd knows he has a good team. And just being around him and watching a lot of his media availabilities leading up to this game, you can tell he almost feels relieved to get this thing started and that they're about to turn the page into not just a new year, but a whole new chapter.
All right. So, what other I want to go back to your time in the NBA. I think we have a mutual contact. You worked in Charlotte for a number of years. I think that was when my buddy Matt Devlin was down there. Is that correct?
Oh, dude, that's like a mentor of mine. Stop it.
Yeah, Matt and I go all the way back to A-ball together.
Hey, DK, let me tell you something. You were talking to my boy Petey Souza. He was my stats guy back in the day. He was terrible. Matt is really still a very good friend of mine, and he's been a kind of guy that I can lean on for counsel in this whole thing, because it's just like any other business or, thing you navigate in life. There's some twists and turns.
Absolutely. What was your fondest memory of working in the NBA?
Well, I mean, they were good. I was kind of running a little loose, but my fondest memory, I think, was, I did even as a young dummy, I did have gratitude for, like, oh my gosh, like even as a PR guy, you're walking down the hallway and LeBron James walks right by you. I was always, you don't want to necessarily say you're starstruck, but there is an overwhelming appreciation just to be around that and to witness some of the amazing things that, some of these amazing athletes can do. And I got a chance to do that tonight again here. So I'm pumped.
Outstanding. Well, hey, Pete, we appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us, telling your story. Where can people find your podcasts?
Yeah, I appreciate that question. It's The Payoff with Pete, Stories of Sobriety. That's the name of the podcast, and you can find it anywhere you get your podcast. Check it out. A lot of good guests. Talk to Lee Steinberg about getting sober. Talk to Ryan Leaf about getting sober. Talk to Jay Moore about getting sober. And then just regular people who you wouldn't know. But all the stories I find fascinating.
The Payoff with Pete. Is that correct? Payoff with Pete?
You got it, yeah.
Outstanding. Pete Souza will call the game tonight on ESPN Plus with our guy, Corey Williams. Pete, have a great call. We look forward to seeing you again down here in a regular face on Arizona basketball broadcast.
Anytime, DK. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Pete Souza with your view from courtside.
We hope you enjoyed your view from courtside. It was brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, celebrating 25 years serving Southern Arizona.
First of all, I want to wish a happy birthday to LeBron James and Tiger Woods.
Ooh, happy birthday.
And also, today is the anniversary of the TV premiere of Let's Make a Deal back in 1963, and I think that's a perfect phrase for our red tag sale right now. Let's make a deal. Come on down. There's still some time. Here to tell you more is O'Reilly's Jamie Garcia.
Yes, but it is running out. Come see us for the red tag savings here at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Take up to $11,000 off the new 2024 Silverado. You can lease the new Equinox EV for $395 a month for 36 months, or take up to $4,000 off the new 2024 Tahoe and 2024 Suburban. Of course, this is with your approved credit, so come see us right now for all the details.
And the great thing is you don't have to choose between a curtain or a box or any of that.
Exactly.
You can go right to the car and you're a winner. We're on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or go to O'Reilly.com. O'Reilly Chevrolet, giving you more since 1924.
Together, let's drive.
Come on down.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
2025 is bringing the biggest change to air conditioning in decades. New EPA regulations mean AC costs could rise by up to 25%. If you've been thinking about replacing your old AC, now's the time. Rightway is offering zero interest financing and a free furnace when you replace your AC this month. Don't wait till next year when prices go up. Call Rightway today for your free no obligation estimate. Call 520-549-2697.
The Window Depot has everything you need to create the kitchen or bathroom of your dreams. Browse the aisles of in-stock cabinets available in a variety of sizes and configurations and instantly elevate your space today. Visit a showroom and let our experts guide you. Whether you're choosing from ready-to-go designs or creating a custom masterpiece, we can help you select the perfect wood type, color, and style, and top it off with unique hardware to complete your look. Find a location near you at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. 6 model homes are now open to tour at Del Webb at Rockin' K. Here, life is about more than just beautiful homes. It's about the experiences waiting outside your front door at this new 55-plus active adult neighborhood. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
It's not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Hey homeowners, are you ready to chill out and go green? Goodfellas Air Conditioning can help. Introducing our latest lineup of energy-efficient systems featuring the new R32 refrigerant. It's cooler, greener, and better for the planet. You'll enjoy lower energy bills and a smaller carbon footprint. Not a fan of change? Goodfellas has a surplus of reliable R410 systems available. Unsure about what system you have or have questions? Give us a call for a free inspection. Goodfellas Air Conditioning, keeping it cool, keeping it green, and always keeping you comfortable.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Buick GMC, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Buick GMC, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Buick GMC, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer-installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Buick GMC, in the Auto Mall and at RoyalTucson.com.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the Captain Kelvin Ifan, and J.W. Madden.
Get hungry. We're excited to be, starting this Big 12 thing we've been talking about for like 20 months. Fired up. We're hungry.
Fired up. We're hungry. Big 12 basketball is here. Arizona and TCU tonight at McHale Center. We've got you for about another 20 minutes. Then we'll hand you over to Brian Jeffries and Ryan Hansen. We'll get you set for tip-off coming up in less than an hour now. 50 minutes away. And these games, this new world we're in terms of these non-major network games like ESPN Plus and stuff, they generally start right near the top of the hour. Used to be like games didn't start till about 7 or 8 after.
Well, there's no clutter.
Exactly.
Streaming is just whenever the time is, it's time is. It's not like
there you go.
If you want to watch your game, go to this other network to go watch it. Yeah.
It's like the NFL. It's like, NFL starts right at 1 o'clock or 10 a.m. or whenever the game starts. They don't waste time. 10 a.m. is kickoff. And the game gets going. That's kind of what you got now with this. It's weird. We talked the last show. We had the caller. It might have been during our afternoon show. The caller called in and said, and I still have to look into this, but he was saying a lot of the bars don't have the ESPN Plus or haven't been able to get the games. I was just trying to explain to my wife. She texted me, how can I watch the game? What channel is it on? I had to walk her through. Well, it's ESPN Plus. You have to go to the streaming app on our cable. You can watch it on the cable, but you have to go where it says apps. Then you have to go through that to ESPN, and it literally takes probably like I went back when I was going back to watch the Central Michigan game. Now I can pull it up on my laptop pretty quickly, but when I want to pull it up on my TV, it takes a little bit longer. And so when I went back to watch the Central Michigan game, it probably takes me because you got to put in the search, and there's probably an easy way to do it that I don't know how to do it to try to get to it quicker. But I'm putting like the numbers like Arizona, Arizona. I feel like the man to search for Arizona. And that, then that might take you 4 or 5 minutes if you screw that up and accidentally delete the thing when you go to push enter and you accidentally deleted it like I did the one time. So, yeah, it takes a little bit longer to find these games now when they're on ESPN Plus. So you have to work a little bit at it. But please do work at it because we want you to be able to see the Wildcats. And if you don't want to watch it, you can always listen here, which is even better, to Brian Jeffries, the great Brian Jeffries and Ryan Hansen, because nobody does a better job than those guys. Let us, before we hear from Tommy Lloyd, because we do have still a lot of business to get to before we're out of here, let's give you your best bets on tonight's game.
Tucson, what are some of today's best bets? Will the Cats beat the spread? It's time to look at some of today's best bets. Brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right, I think I'm winning. I know I'm winning. The question is by how much am I winning on these best bets? I am up by 4 over Kelvin and 5 over J-Dub as we enter tonight's game. Arizona by 15.5. tonight. And again, my thing all season long has been you got to show me that you can beat a team, a Power 5 team, before I lay points like this. But I don't with the way that TCU is coming in here a little bit beat up. I don't know if they're going to be able to stay in this game with Arizona tonight. So I'm taking Arizona and laying that 14.5 tonight. I think it's going to be a pretty easy night. I don't have the same uneasiness about this game that I did about UCLA or some of the other Power 4 conference games that we played before. I think this is going to be a pretty easy night for Arizona.
I can't see them beating them by 15 today.
No.
I can't.
No.
They are down a couple guys, but if you look at TCU, every game they've played a tough battle. I mean, they haven't played the toughest opponents, but every time they was in those games, it was a nice little fight. So I don't know.
So you're going to go. So you're going to take TCU and take the 14.5 points. All right.
Yeah.
J-Dub.
Yeah, I agree with you both. I think, DK, the fact that they're coming in a little banged up, their best shooter and their facilitator are not going to play.
Yeah.
That being said, nobody mucks a game up like Jamie Dixon, that Howland style. And so what they're going to try to do is have it be a game in the 40s is what we're going to be looking at tonight, because he's going to come in, make no mistake, to win this game in McHale.
Yeah.
It's actually 15.5.
That being
let you know.
said, I just think that the momentum Arizona's been playing with, and after that struggle, 0-5 in non-conference versus Power 5 teams, I think they have something to prove to themselves. So I think it's really about them proving to themselves. So Cats cover, but not by too much more than that, maybe 17, 18.
All right, so U of A minus 15.5. So 15.5, Kelvin, does that change your mind at all or no?
No.
Because I was shorting at one point.
No.
My wife just texted back, that's too much work to watch a game.
Yeah, too many letters you got to put
too
in.
Too much. I don't blame. I mean, again, I don't blame her. It is a lot of work to watch some of these games now that are on. And we talked about when they were talking about trying to save the Pac-12 and streaming, and it's like, well, we got a large chunk of streaming now that we're dealing with, especially now football. We didn't have to deal with it a lot just because they weren't on a lot of the ESPN. I think they only had 2 ESPN Plus games all year. They were on major networks after that, and I think there are more. I don't think there's a lot of ESPN Plus basketball games. I'll give you the number on the post-game show. I think there's more network games on the basketball side once we get into Big 12 conference play. So it shouldn't be an issue on most days, but it is going to be an issue on certain nights if you've had problems with the ESPN Plus. And if you do, I'd like to know about it. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Text me. We don't have time to take any calls right now on the rest of this show, but text me what your situation has been. If you're going out and watching the game at a bar, let me know if they have it at the bars too. We had a guy call in last week and said that he went to a couple bars that didn't even have it. So I'd like to hear what bars have it and what bars don't as well. All right, 145.5 on the over-under today for this ball game. And again, we heard from Steven Johnson said if this game gets above 75, TCU is in trouble. Because I think Arizona is going to dominate, I'm going to go with the over.
Oh, no. Under. Yeah, I'm going under, man.
Okay.
They're going to muck it up, man.
All
I mean,
right.
they're going to get back. They're going to send 4 guys back on defense. They're not going to allow you to get easy buckets. They're going to slow it down, walk the ball up, do everything they can to make the game close. So,
yeah, I agree again with both of you. I think they're going to muck it up, and I think it's going to go just over. So 147, something like that. So just barely over that. But it's going to be a low-scoring game.
Okay, so J-Dub and I are laying the 15.5 and taking the over. Kelvin is taking the points and the under. So Kelvin will either be way up on us or way down on us after tonight's game. Those are your best bets.
Those are today's best bets. They are brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right, before we get to our keys to the game, let's hear from the head coach one more time of your Arizona Wildcats, Tommy Lloyd. No real roadmap through these struggles that were a 6-5 non-conference season.
I will just say that, we've probably been, since kind of our initial struggle started, we probably have been a little more intentional with how we're going to drive things within the culture. That could be meetings, that could be, it could be a shared video clip, it could be, a conversation. And at the end of the day, your culture and your vibe is the most important thing. Because I mean, that's going to be the bedrock foundation of everything that you do. And so, sometimes results, get us distracted from that. And in order to reset, you can't just focus on the result. You got to kind of focus on the bedrock foundation, which is your culture. So, we got to get back to that. And hey, and I'll just say this about culture. There's no perfect culture. And culture, especially within a highly competitive team environment, is something you're working on every single day. And there's going to be some good days and there's going to be some tough days. And so, we've kind of, maybe, scaled things down a little bit and really simplified and kind of gotten back to, how we want Arizona basketball to feel.
All right, let's give you our keys to what the Wildcats need to do to win this game tonight.
Wildcats fans, our keys to the game are brought to you by the Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealership that is different.
All right, Kelvin, what is going to take place tonight for Arizona?
Easy buckets, points in transition. I think we need at least 18 points in transition tonight to get this victory. Take care of the basketball. I think it's good. Big 12 is physical play. I think they're going to let them play physical right from the start. Arizona has to come out and show that they're about this now. They're about this in the Big 12. And then my last one is we have to get Caleb some easy buckets going. I think, as I said before, I think Caleb scoring puts everybody at ease. Get Caleb some easy buckets early, right away.
And when I'll kind of go off your comment there about Caleb Love, I want to see more of what we saw in that game against Central Michigan. Pump fake, drive in, get yourself an easy 14, 15-foot jumper. I like that he was being more aggressive in that respect, like we heard KJ Lewis say earlier in the game, inside the arc action, driving to the basket, but also driving and pulling up and making jumpers. I think when Caleb is in that mindset, that's a good thing for Arizona, because it could be a game where they try to muck it up physical. Now you got to start making your free throws. Wildcat, you got to shoot 85% or more, I think, in these games now that you're getting into Big 12 competition to have a chance to win. And if they can keep things flowing offensively like we've seen, get to that 20-assist plateau, it's going to be I think it's going to be an easy night for Arizona regardless, but it'll do all three of those things, and it'll be a real easy night.
Yeah, it's really simple for me. Patient in the half court. TCU lives off of live ball turnovers. They are 17th in the nation in fast break points per game. So Jamie Dixon, we all know what that Howland-Dixon style of half-court defense is all about. Be really patient with your passes, fake a pass, make a pass, all that. Number two, just the standard share the rock. We've seen it in these last few games. They got to take what they've done the last few games, that Tommy Lloyd style of flow offense, passing ball, making sure that you make correct reads and that people find open space when you're moving off the ball. 20 or more assists, I think that's pretty simple. Number three, you have to kill this team on the glass. Arizona's top 10 rebounding margin in the nation. They're out-rebounding teams by 13. TCU, they're banged up. They haven't played a tough schedule, guys. They're only out-rebounding teams by 2 or 3 per game. You have to dominate this team on the glass. Those are my big three keys to beating TCU tonight in McHale.
All right, let's give you the starting lineup.
The foundation of a great college basketball team begins with the starting lineup. Today's starting lineup is brought to you by Rockin' K, a master plan community designed by nature.
Three-guard play, Jaden Bradley at the point, 6'3", junior out of Rochester, New York, averaging 11 points and almost 4 assists per ball game. Caleb Love, 6'4", guard out of St. Louis, 15 points, leads the Wildcats in that respect. Anthony Del Orso, 6'6", junior out of Melbourne, Australia, shooting 47% from three-point land this season. Trey Townsend, 6'6", forward out of Oxford, Michigan, averaging 10 points and 5 rebounds per game. And Toby Awaka, 6'8", junior forward out of Hyde Park, New York, averaging 8 points and 8 rebounds per contest. Tommy Lloyd, your head coach. That is your Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show. For Kelvin Efon and J.W. Madden, I'm David Kelly. Bear down, Arizona. Enjoy the game. We'll talk to you afterward.
Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball continues. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 3 of the pregame show is brought to you by Broadway in Tucson, Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing, Drain Medics, First Choice Pools, Goldberg and Osborne the Injury Lawyers, Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates, O'Reilly Chevrolet, Showtime Sports Cards, Tucson Police Department, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 5-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Day in and day out, we're inundated with commercials asking to review your portfolio or telling you to get a second opinion. This is Natalie Fernandez with Meridian Wealth Management, and I want to share the advice I give people every day. Talk to 3 different advisors at 3 different firms. It's important to understand their differences and find someone you can trust. I want Meridian to be one of your 3, and then you will decide who is best for you. To learn more, call us at 719-1433 today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic. Good health is to enjoy.
First Chiropractic is pleased to announce that Access Health Plans now cover chiropractic care. A referral by your PCP is required. For more information, go to firstchiro.com, the most trusted name in chiropractic care. A proud U of A radio sponsor.
First Chiropractic. Good health is to enjoy.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Donna Ogden Nation.
The Window Depot has everything you need to create the kitchen or bathroom of your dreams. Browse the aisles of in-stock cabinets available in a variety of sizes and configurations and instantly elevate your space today. Visit a showroom and let our experts guide you. Whether you're choosing from ready-to-go designs or creating a custom masterpiece, we can help you select the perfect wood type, color, and style, and top it off with unique hardware to complete your look. Find a location near you at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot. More than a window store.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Buick GMC, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Buick GMC, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Buick GMC, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Buick GMC, in the Auto Mall and at RoyalTucson.com.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
It's December in Tucson, and yes, it's cold outside. But we're here to help with our $79 furnace diagnostic service special and our $79 water heater flush that includes a free plumbing inspection. Call us at 520-492-0748 or picturerockschooling.com. And on behalf of our entire team, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Picture Rock's cooling, heating and plumbing.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
Back to the holiday shopping adventures of Eugene Snarkle and his best friend Doug.
Hey, Eugene, we waited a little too long to get our shopping done. The shelves are looking pretty empty.
I was thinking of getting everyone a giant-sized bag of Cheezos.
We interrupt Eugene's great idea for this message.
Looking to get on the road but need some maintenance or repairs to your car, truck, SUV, or sleigh to get it road trip ready?
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care has some fantastic year-end savings, like $50 back on any $250 purchase. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care since 1960, here to get you there.
TCU Tucson, a Cumulus media station. The one and only home of Arizona basketball. Pre- and post-game coverage, play-by-play, and live press conferences. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. College basketball at its best.
Cats down by 1. Top of the heap. Deep three is good, and the Cats are on top.
Wildcat basketball is on the air. The leaders of the pack have a new conference to conquer.
On the break, slam it home. Timeout Trojans, and the Wildcats have broken it open.
It's time to bear down. Get ready for the excitement and energy of University of Arizona Wildcat basketball. 38 NCAA appearances, 60 NCAA victories, 4 Final Fours, a Tucson tradition, and a national treasure. The Cardinal and Navy are here to play. This is Wildcat basketball from Arizona Sports Enterprises.
Happy holidays from McHale Center in Tucson, where in minutes the Arizona Wildcats will play their first ever Big 12 Conference basketball game as they take on the TCU Horned Frogs. Welcome to our courtside seats for a historic game of note. U of A has moved from the Border Conference to the